get it in 2 days.
Wouldn't that be lovely? Well, we can hope for that, and we'll see, of course, if it comes to be. Let's focus for now on Lair, our first map. A reminder again, because BDS are on the blue side and start on defense, the bans are actually switched. So Blitz was a BDS ban. These next 2 bans are PSG Talon bans.
Who they bring in? Monte is going to be taken away, so it's the double shield ban, which has been very, very popular so far at SI. Usually a combination of Monte, Blitz and Blackbeard. 2 of those 3. We will have our first defender coming in, Azami. No surprises there. And we will have the final one coming in, which again, reminder, this is the BDS ban, not the PSG ban, because we've got the defenders starting on the blue side, so our UI is just reversed. So it will be mirror. No huge shocks there in the operator bans. I think largely, kind of as expected. And we get into things. BDS start on the defense. And they are going to be going up to the top 4 to kick things off.
A couple of bans aimed towards specific players in that mix as well. Like Gotzi's a big time mirror player, so 100% going in towards him with that final ban coming away. Blitz I was quite curious about, but no one really on either team plays Blitz to a massive degree. Blackbeard's actually seeing a lot more play from both sides, so would have maybe expected to see something like that coming out. However, we'll park it there, Tim. We'll get ourselves focused on the game. BDS kicking things off on the defense, up on the top floor, and PSG Talon have really got to show something special on the attack of Lair. It is one of those maps, so we're going to have ourselves a rehost. But I was going to say, this is one of those maps that we've seen quite a lot of balance, actually. It's about 50-50 when it comes to attack and defense. The PSG hoping will start out with a good show. They will come out with at least a couple of rounds here, and then hopefully switch onto a strong defense in that second half. You'd guess, Tim, that we are like PSG Talon fans and not actually like home region casters of BDS, with the way that we're trying to really beef PSG Talon up here.
I am always the same, Des. If there is a story there of a David and Goliath, of a team that we don't expect to win, but can do something special that will be memorable, I will 100% get behind them. I'd love to see BDS win the tournament. We've seen them get to both major finals this year. It's been a tough year for them in terms of those finals performances. They haven't quite got it over the line. As an EU caster, as an EU supporter, I'd love to see them win it. But within this match, there is the possibility of a great Siege story to be told. And that is PSG running it back in the final 2 days, not just against anybody, but against Dark Zero and BDS, 2 of the most storied orgs in Siege. They've got a lot of history behind both of them now. And it'd just be a wonderful, wonderful story. You got Fabian in there. You got, players that have come together from different... Just everything is there. It is so, so tasty. So tantalising. And you know me, Des. I do this with everything. I love a little dream. I do. I love a little dream. Something, I'll pick something that maybe could happen, but it's very unlikely. And I just get super excited about it, and I just get really revved up, and that's how I feel about PSG Talon today. It is very unlikely. Don't be coming for me in the chat saying, they're not going to win. I know they're probably not going to win, but they could. And I'm so excited about that fact.
What I love is, not just 2 days ago, Fabian jumped onto Fresh's podcast, Fresh Friends podcast. Fully recommend you go and have a listen to the episode. It was really interesting. And frankly, Fabian sounded like a canary to me. Opened up about the struggles in career, about the motivation of his players, for example, about how what we've seen at SI, they're just really, really nervous, which again to him is really alien, the issues they've had to work through as a team. There's been a lot of reasons why when coming into yesterday, you thought they'd have been absolutely smoked and just dashed out the competition there and then. But that result, well, he said that's much more like what I see from them in scrims. It's still not where we usually play, but it's looking a hell of a lot better. So maybe they just knew that he was going to go upstairs and talk a bunch of smack on that podcast, and then we're like, cool, let's show him now. Let's make it look a right idiot. And they've done a great job, and hopefully they do it again today against BDS. So I know Fabian is very, very proud currently of being the only team, I believe, that has played against BDS. It's got a 1-0 record. They haven't yet lost to BDS previously, Tim.
Those are the facts.
If he gets to 2-0,
That's the facts.
If he gets 2-0, he will be insufferable. And you know it as well. He will not shut up all year long. Yeah. Look, I tell you what, I want BDS to win it now. I can't stand that on social media.
Forget
I can't stand Fabian being
Sorry,
like that.
Fabian.
Sorry, mate. It's done. It's
no,
chalked.
In all seriousness, yes, PSG have got it stacked up against them. That is the reality. BDS, very, very good. Sharko's playing really well at the minute. 10th overall rated at the tournament in terms of individual player performance, so he's pretty hot at the minute. Not absolute top of the pops, but he's up there and he's getting the job done. And of course, we know the firepower. Solotov comes in next in terms of rating on the BDS side. And that's before we even look down the line at players like Leakerfact, Breeder, Users. You know, they're an absolute quality outfit. It really is, you know, we can't stress that it is, you know, sort of David and Goliath. It is meeting a giant here, you know, for PSG.
I said before the competition, I spoke to, what, 3/4 of the teams, like coaches, analysts, a couple of players in the mix as well. BDS was in the top 3 of every single team's predictions to win this tournament. And it's hard to say no when you look at how they've done throughout this year as well, with the results that they've had, consistently making it to finals. And it's a bit like, at some point it has to tick over. They have to get Six Invitational done, because in the same way we say it about Team Liquid and Parlo and Nesk, it's kind of a, can you imagine a world where Shaiko doesn't win an SI? It feels like it has to be a thing, and that's with players like Breeder alongside him and Leakerfact that have also played unbelievably. And Users and Solitov, well, they've definitely made a case for saying there's a very, very good reason why BDS picked them up, because they have looked stellar since joining this lineup. By the way, round is now properly underway. The Mavericks on the go on this mask wall. You've seen this one 1,000,001 times before. It gives you a lot of pressure in towards site itself. And there is someone like a bandit on side that stops them playing hard denial onto the south wall that looks down towards Opt and Mezzanine. There is no bandit on side, though. It is all about the Kaid here. That won't be so easy to get away. But that's where a Maverick can still help you have that wall opened up. No bother at all.
Interestingly, I've just looked back as well. Last time around when these two teams met in Manchester, it was on Oregon, obviously a map that's no longer in our competitive pool. But Misa had a huge day there, 17 and 8. 2-0 on entry, 80% cost. He was absolutely flying. The question is, for PSG, can they find somebody in the side that is going to step up like that again today? Because if they can, then, like I say, it could well start giving BDS some problems. We'll see how it goes. We're nearly 2 minutes into the round. We don't have a kill yet, so everything's a little bit kind of slow for PSG. They're just trying to work this forward and massage their opportunity to get themselves an advantage.
Before I find stuff down, he's got the right idea. There is a player tucked in, makes him run
Beautiful.
As well. Great little bit of play from Ryder. Gets him with the nade on the finish off, and Yas is also here for a bit of support, joined up by Misa. Got an unbelievable series as well. Yesterday it wasn't just against BDS, Tim. Yas finding Breeder. Ryder's now been taken down too, but PSG Talon have got the numbers advantage, Tim.
Yeah, and BDS are kind of really hard fighting this. They know exactly where PSG Talon want to enter site, want to put the diffuser down, and they've just put boots on the ground. You can see them there. Solitov, Leakerfact are stood real directly in their way. Leakerfact's going to dip away, and with Solitov on low health, that might just give PSG Talon in this last 25 seconds a little bit of space to be able to move on in here. That's a big kill. It opens things up, but Leakerfact, he's just looking to get on the rear side of him. He knows there's pressure coming in from that window. 4 versus 2. PSG, you gotta go now. They managed to get Leakerfact and Misa with a double. PSG Talon come out with a great opening attack.
Wow, and a 3K for Misa to start things off just as we start speaking
It's happening, Des!
Yeah, I mean, yesterday, we spoke about him and how he looked back against BDS, but also yesterday, as I mentioned, 36 and 26 he was against Dark Zero. The shining light for his team. Yas not far behind at 31 to 24, but those two were the ones that really saw their team through. And Fabian was saying it on the podcast. He was saying, you know, Misa is an unbelievable winner. Like, you see the kind of stuff he pulls off in scrims, and it's like, why can't that always translate into officials? And, well, yesterday you saw it, and he certainly started this series with 3 kills to get things going. If they believe in themselves today, because it's the one thing Fabian said, he's like, I don't know if it's a cultural thing in Korea or what, but they just don't really seem to have that confidence and belief. It's a really weird thing. Now, maybe today, they're starting to believe that they can do this.
I just want to pick up that entry kill from Soldier as well. The change to the nades, I love when they are used like that now. Of course, you know, for anybody who doesn't know, you can't cook a nade in Siege anymore. That was removed. And now the way that nades work is once they are thrown, you can hold them forever, essentially. Once they are thrown and they hit a surface, there's then the timer starts, and that's when they're going to detonate. So just bouncing it off the wall there, and that is what nades are absolutely perfect for. You know somebody's in an area, and you want to force them out of it. You just send the nade in off the wall, and then your guns up, and you're ready for them moving, because they don't have a choice. If they don't, they're going to die. And it's a simple thing, yes, but it's the fundamentals, and PSG Talon get it done. Soldier with a beautiful opener, Misa with a 3K. They look good in round 1, and like we said, BDS, they're not a Lair team generally. Maybe there's an opportunity for PSG Talon here in all seriousness.
Let's see if they can keep on translating that into more round wins. One's all well and good, but you need a few in this half, I feel, Tim, if you're going to have any success going into the second, because BDS are certainly no slouches on the attack themselves. Seen plenty of times what they're more than capable of doing, and Solotov's got the right idea. Oh, but it's a shield, my man. You can't bring him down too easily. Soldier, good use of it. Taking control of that ground, got themselves now inside of the garage and warehouse and starting that pushing from the east side. Leakyfat's the one now running around upstairs. I wonder if he'll get cleared out here, Tim. I think they know that there's going to be a roamer or two. It's very expected on this site. But for the most part, PSG have said, forget about that. We're going direct to site.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a risk. You can leave them out in the cold, but of course there's the opportunity potentially for those verticals to be used. You've got to pick your plant spot carefully. You've got to understand exactly where Leakyfat is playing and make sure that you're out of his line of fire, because otherwise he's just going to prevent you putting the diffuser down. With the shields and stuff, potentially, if you know, Soldier doesn't have the diffuser at the minute, but he could maybe make it difficult for them, and Gotti then might be able to find a little bit of space. But exactly as expected, we've got Leakyfat up above, and he's just going to watch those angles.
How many of those he can watch is going to be the big question. We saw some really cheeky plants going down actually on this site the other day when it really looked like they shouldn't be. With all the vertical control on the ball with the defenders, 2 up on that top floor, it still wasn't enough. And the only track that matters, Tim, is onto this Legion, and that's exactly what they've found. Does have the mute jammers, which of course will negate that for a brief moment. However, he's now clear and out, and Gotti also removed. A second one coming in from the C4. BDS holding off well so far.
Yeah, this is it. PSG Talon have had nothing really so far on this attack. BDS have worked it really, really well. They've controlled all the key areas. They've hit them with the nitros. They've just bullied them. They've chipped away at them. They've taken the shield off them. And now it's a big ask for PSG. 3 versus 5, 30 seconds left to go. There's going to come a point where they just have to go for it here. Leakyfat is still up on that top floor. Misa is there as well, using the hatch at the minute, but he needs to be very cautious because there's the potential either for Leakyfat to find him or for BDS to just hit him on the reverse angle. You're playing against the big boys now, and they will hit their shots. That's the reality. Solotov finds Ryder. BDS are looking to respond with a flawless round. Yas says, nope, that's not going to happen. Manages to pick up users, but I think that's going to be the most that he will get.
Probably the most he'll walk away with. Tries to find one more here as well. Gets it down. Won't quite finish off his man. BDS is more trying to play for KD at this point, I think, above anything else. Pretty slow round overall. I think PSG Talon never really properly got moving there, Tim. And honestly, part of that, I think, being down to those verticals.
Yeah, I think the key there for PSG was get in there. The thing is, BDS kind of offered it to them. Leakyfat's up there on his own. Send 3 in, and you're going to have him cleared within a minute. He's either going to have to drop back to side, or he's going to be dead. Simple as that. You might lose 1 along the way, but you should well get that vertical presence then, and you can start. The big problem was that BDS never had to move inside of sight. They were just, at the end of the round, they still stood inside the sight. They're just holding their angles, and I've said this so many times. Defenders, at the beginning of a round, set up in the best position they can be in. You got to force them to move. You got to disrupt them, and that didn't happen. So BDS was super comfortable at the end there to just pick up their kills. They know the angles inside out, and they're just waiting for you to push them. So PSG, for me, missed an opportunity there. Get in there, clear Leakyfat out, work those verticals, and by working them, you force BDS out of those prime positions, and then you can get a little bit of space. So PSG, I'm sure, you know, will probably learn from that round, but yeah, BDS looking very solid on that one.
All right, second floor we go to, which again means a similar thing to what you saw last round, where there will be a vertical hold out of BDS above the site. If you are new to Siege or haven't watched too much of it before, you can't really defend a site playing on it itself, or it becomes far too exposed doing just that. You have 2 choices, maybe 3. Third one that I didn't mention today when I was explaining the same principles, you can play below if you really want to look for the null, but that's definitely more rare than it is playing above, which is what BDS are currently going for. Or you try and extend laterally, you play on that same floor, but you go to the rooms surrounding it and give more obstacles to the attackers to have to work through before they can even start looking at the site itself. So here, for BDS, it's about playing up on that top floor, and there's a lot of them up there, Tim. I think PSG must surely realize that there's no one really on site. If they can hit this quickly, to be fair, they could do a bit of work. The problem for this site, Tim, is it's so exposed to the verticals from above, so many great angles that you can hold, that in some way they have to force all these players away. Yeah,
I was going to say, they've opened the external breach, which is absolutely, that's what they should be doing as a first step, but they've got BDS located right up above it. He's on the mute, he'll have the shotgun, and the SMG secondary. Users is there with him shotgun as well, and they've opened up almost the entirety of that floor. So your breach you've opened up, it's all well and good, but you absolutely cannot walk through it without winning a couple of fights. Taking those fights on the vertical as you try to walk in is just going to be asking for trouble. So yes, PSG, they need to go above and they need to be winning out these fights. Get the clearance done, force BDS back to site. Again, the shield doing its work, but Soldier taking some damage in the legs there. Needs to be careful now on only half health.
They had that drone overhead, watching him run the whole way, so they knew what was going on, making use of the Grim Bees to also support this march forward on Mez. I'm conscious, Tim, that half the round is falling down here as well. Here he comes again, getting none of his feet this time round, so it's going to force Solotov back here. Round taken by PSG, starting to get a move on here, Tim, with 75 still to play. Soldier has got about, what, 20 HP left. It's not looking great for him.
Yeah, they've got the right idea with the Blackbeard in trying to push forward and trying to just move these BDS players, but the problem is they're losing a lot of health in doing so. They're not really making it there quick enough to close the ground and make him a real threat. They do eventually take out Solotov. It is a trade as he managed to find one. Shaiko onto Soldier. 4 versus 2 as PSG are starting to crumble on this top floor clearance, but Misa manages to find an answer onto Brede. Ryder is down though. Misa's all alone. About 20 HP. Users finds him. BDS will not be moved from that top floor.
What I love is Solotov. I mean, one, the spin on towards Gotti at long range was incredible. Then to immediately go back and go for the fight and lose it looks bad. Shaiko is immediately on top of where he's died, holding that same position, and it didn't seem to matter what PSG Talon did. They used 2 nades, they used Grimbees, they had a Blackbeard pushing down. BDS were happy to just kind of step back and concede the parts of the ground that weren't super important for them to hold. Let's not forget, they cared most of all about holding onto those verticals. So being able to play out that much utility and that many players coming to try and kill 2 of you, yet you still demolish through like 3 or 4 of them, really good stuff, and just again a show of that caliber that BDS have got on side. That first quarter's down, Tim. We're probably going to see a repeat of the same 3 sites again. We are starting back up on this top floor. PSG Talon only got that 1 round. It looked good back in round 1, but since then, BDS, it's like a brick wall's been put up straight in front of the Korean sides and they can't get anything.
Yeah, BDS are looking good there. Like I said, I think PSG just maybe needed a little bit more speed, a little bit more aggression about them. Soldier, yes, he was kind of bullying Solotov, but he was bullying him in a way that you would with a Monty, where you've got that complete coverage. And yeah, you can just slowly march your way forward like the tide eroding rocks. You know, you can just push them, and there's nothing that they can do about it unless they've got explosives. Whereas with Blackbeard, you don't have that same freedom. You need to be a little bit more dynamic. You need to treat him more like a blitz. You want to close that distance down. You want to get up in their face. You want to make them panic a little bit. You can't let them sit at distance and feel like they've got the opportunity to get the shots. You know, maybe a little bit of that confidence issue come in there. Soldier, drop the shield, get your gun up, make a challenge onto him. He's going to feel less like he can just sit and stare at you and shoot your feet then. Make him think about it. Yes, there's a risk there, of course, but you got to back yourself.
And well, never it's important they back themselves for the entire game, Tim, because when heads start dropping, when the comms fall down is where things all start to look a little bit over and where you'd expect Fabian to be stepping in, having a few words to get the boys back on side. And it is tough when you've been frankly dominated for a couple of rounds to really butter yourself up to go back in for it and go in at pace the same way you did back in round 1. But now got themselves the mass wall being opened up. I mentioned before, this is quite important. This gives a little bit of pressure in towards site itself. Stop someone trekking on towards that south side wall. Ryder starting things off. Shaiko being taken down. Put that one in the history books for yourself. Not bad to bring down Shaiko himself on the entry at the start of a round if you're Ryder in this position. It's a Legion offline at 5v4. So not terrible for PSG Talon, Tim. A good start.
Yeah, it is, and I think Shaiko just getting caught out of position a little bit there. He didn't know that, and again, it comes down to that aggression, Des. Didn't know that PSG Talon were in such an advanced position, and it was an easy takedown to get things underway for Ryder. So that is a good start. They're getting the Masks wall open as well. PSG are building well here. We saw them have the win on the top floor last time around. It was BDS's weak side, if we want to say they had one, and definitely an opportunity for PSG Talon to get another one in the books. But are they aware of Leakafak underneath? He's playing there with the Nitro and he's looking for that vertical denial. If they go into Masks and try to put the diffuser down, Leakafak can be there in a couple of seconds and he will end that party, let me tell you.
So you need that depth in terms of the strats of the team as well as that consideration. We've seen them try to ignore the vertical before. They paid the price, and as you say, the C4 coming through very comfortably. Ryder now taken out as well. Almost like there's a lack of consideration here on where else BDS can be playing. Like, BDS are literally playing across the multiple floors of the map, whereas the PSG Talon not seen too much of that yet.
And they've got loads of drones, Des. They've got 6 out of 10 left. They've plenty to go at. So there's no excuse, really, for not knowing about Leakafak underneath. Solotov manages to take down Yas, and you can see they're just starting to get a little bit more aggressive now at BDS. They're starting to feel themselves. They know that they can win these fights. They know that they can get aggressive, that they've got that space. They're 4 versus 3. Shotgun wins that all day long. Leakerfact takes down Misa, 4v2 BDS, and now in cruising mode. Gotti manages to find one, but it's likely impactless. 13 seconds left to go. Nitro from users. BDS looking super solid on a map we were unsure about for them, but right now, they certainly seem to know their way around Lair.
I do wish we could hear what Fabian was saying here, but we don't have the mics for these timeouts, unfortunately, on the B stream. So I can imagine what he's saying is, be better, boys. Do more. Vibes up.
Vibes up.
You got this. You do hear a really mixed bag of timeouts, to be fair, for the most part.
I think this is one of the beauties of a coach like Fabian. I'm not, all the coaches are sort of capable of the same, but you know that Fabian is going to be there giving some real sort of strategic insight. Having been the player that he was and everything else, he literally is going to be, giving them specifics to go away and work on. I think he's kind of saying what I was saying there. Like, if you go slow and
word
you give them...
Word for word, Tim. Word for word.
I know, I didn't want... If you go slow and you give them the opportunities, they will beat you. If you can get up in their faces quicker, if you can surprise them, if you can make it difficult for them, then you might have half a chance. And that's, like I say, Soldier pushing on the Blackbeard. Ryder's opening kill. It's a great display of that contrast. Soldier goes in, slowly pushing Solotov back, ultimately loses his life because it's not aggressive enough. Whereas Ryder gets himself into an advanced position. Shaiko runs into his waiting arms and, it's an easy opener. So, yeah, I think a little bit more confidence, a little bit more aggression will do PSG Talon wonders here.
I love the elevator music during those timeouts. Yeah. Been a really intense time in the teams, feeling like energy slipping away, momentum is disappearing, and things are going from bad to worse. They're calling the timeout, and then it's a bit of just like, what the hell's going on? Wonderful. For sure. I think the key thing for this site in particular is going to be the verticals, Tim. We spoke about them largely ignoring it last time, and sure, they had an answer to it. They got the track down onto Leakerfact. It forced him back. Cool. All well and good. But once they had a player up on the hatch, it felt like it was a little bit too late. They'd already lost a couple of players by that time. The Blackbeard had gone off trying to seek someone down and lost his life in the process. And this is not too bad from Shaiko. I speak about this a lot, but after a timeout is the best time to really try and change up the pace. And it's like not quite a spawn peek, but a very early attempt at a kill onto an enemy teammate that's outside the door. It's a great chance to try and catch someone off guard and shut down that potentially reworked strategy before the rounds even got started.
Yeah, I want to see more disruption from PSG on this one. Like I said last time, BDS were just allowed to play in their positions. That's it, Soldier. Close that gap, shield down, guns up, get aggressive. Leakerfact taken out, but BDS, they are standing up well here. 3 versus 2, they managed to find kills of their own. The Blackbeard is down. Gotti, almost the same. This is looking hard for PSG Talon now, but yes, he manages to find one.
Too late, man.
However, the Dokubi on his own, 1v2. This is going to be a tough finish. BDS likely to close out another round.
Yeah, what really got me there is they tried to go just a few seconds too soon. The Dokubi call became available at 2 minutes 15 seconds. They'd gone in about the 2:21 mark, and I was like, oh, guys, I get it, you've got the kill, you want to take the ground, but if you gave it just a few more seconds, you'd have really been able to make use of that extra information. You'll see BDS doing it in the second half, Tim. They absolutely love Dokubi. 3 of their players have got Dokubi in their top 3 most played attacking operators, and for good reason. And I just feel there, it was a missed opportunity by PSG Talon.
It also shows the size of the task that they're up against. We wanted them to go a little bit quicker, and they did, and they got the result. They go in, they get the kill onto Leakerfact. It works, but you're still up against BDS, and that's part of the problem as well. You're up against a team that, yeah, you can get more aggressive, yeah, you can go a bit quicker, give them less time to think, get up in their faces, and they're still going to win those gunfights, and they're still going to give you a difficult time of it. So it's a little bit unfortunate for PSG Talon. Did they do the right thing? I think they did. Yes, it could maybe have been slightly better time. They could have created a little bit more confusion in there with that Dokubi call, but ultimately, yeah, I think it was, a good try, but BDS, they just showing that they're on another level.
Obviously one that you want to see over on the A stream, but just now, Nesca's just hit that very much sought after 1,000 kill mark at 6 Invitationals.
Congratulations.
Not this SI, but all SIs combined. That'd be incredible to get 1,000 at a single tournament. But across all SIs, he's hit the 1,000 kill mark. So well done to him.
Huge congratulations to Ness.
Now Parlus has got to get there and say, well, I did it in 1 SI less. So,
it's a real, it feels like, it should be a real celebration from the community as well. Nesk is one of these players that, is such a talisman for the game as a whole. and to have been at so many... From Nest to Shaiko.
Speaking of a talisman.
Yeah, you know, he steps out and gets a beautiful kill on Tamisa to open things up. And as the score develops and BDS get more rounds, that's something that PSG need to be aware of, because they will continue to get more aggressive, will BDS. But yeah, you know, huge congratulations. I'm sure that it's something that the community can celebrate as well, because, you know, this game has been around for so many years now. We've had so many fantastic moments at SIs over the years, and Eska's provided a good few of those.
Absolutely has, and long may they continue. PSG Talon really got to find something in this round, Tim. They've started the push forward. They've found Solotov on the back of that flash. Good little bit of team play coming through to make this happen. Had the support coming in behind from Soldier in case it was so required, but it was not. Ryder basically doing it all by himself in the end.
Yeah, that's what it's about. Get your flash in. Follow it up quickly. Follow it up aggressively. Get that kill. Don't let that flash effect wear off. Don't let him have an opportunity to fight you. It was better from PSG Talon. 4 versus 4 now. They've given themselves a little bit of an opportunity within the round. They've lost the Grim, which isn't ideal. Of course, you know, such a good operator for creating space, particularly when it comes to thinking about getting a diffuser down or for moving somebody from the top floor where you need a little bit more space, maybe to take a vertical control. But ultimately, there is an opportunity. A minute 30 left to go, and PSG Talon, they need the next couple of kills, get that man advantage and push forward from there. But in contrast, BDS, like I said, they've been looking so good so far. They've managed to prevent the breach being open too much. They've still got a larger, complete top floor presence. There's nobody on site at the minute, and they're just going to rain it down from above. But interestingly, PSG Talon might just go for this.
You know it's open.
This is the problem. This is the problem.
That is painful.
Lamp's going down, though.
They saw the shots coming on through, and yeah, I believe he's managed to get his way in with the smoke coming through the wards there as well, but he manages to stick it. I mean, BDS are now in a 4 versus 2, so a retake doesn't sound too difficult for them, Tim. Scotty can work some real magic on the outside.
Look at where the diffuser is, though. It's way away from that breach as it had to be, and this is the problem. However, they don't know that Ryder, he's in amongst them. He's looking to get kills. There's make it 3 for the round. He's just going to hold this position now. Where will the challenge come from BDS? He knows that there's another on his way. He surely hears the warden. This could be another one for him. No, Users manages to get the peak. BDS may be able to close this out now. It's all up to Gotti. Breeder's on the cover, and BDS get the... Do they get the retake?
They do.
Yes, he was on it. I just looked up and I saw 5 seconds. I was like, was he on it quick enough? Yes, he was. BDS
with plenty of time to spare. Plenty.
BDS get it done. The dream for PSG feels like it's turning into a little bit of a nightmare here. Lair is running away from them quickly. BDS are just showing another level, another gear. They are just the superior team at the minute.
They are. It was something else that Fabian spoke about on the podcast. He was saying, you know, when you combine our strategical mistakes, our team mistakes with individual mistakes, it's where everything really starts to tumble down. And the problem is they make bigger mistakes when the first mistake has been made. And I actually thought at the start of this, it wasn't too bad. I mean, the spawn peak, you can't do much about that. The Blackbeard stepping in, right sort of idea. My main frustration was when the Blackbeard stepped through and blocked those shots from above, they knew exactly what angle was being watched. For a second player, I think it was Yas, to then step into the room and dive to that exact same angle. I was a little bit like, you've just seen that you've been shot at from there. Like, you know that there's a player sat on that vertical. Why are we still pushing in through that?
I think genuinely PSG were 1 kill away from winning that round.
They were.
If Ryder manages to get Users, if he takes down the warden on the peak around the door, they win the round. It's 2v1. Breeder has a real tough time and is short of time to be able to do anything about it. So, you know, another close one for PSG, but ultimately BDS just showing their quality there. No matter how close it is, they always seem to come out on top, and, you know, I think we'll probably continue to do so. 5-1 now. They move on to the attack, and PSG can play their game. They're on the defense. They can set it up the way they want, but BDS just sort of looking better and better as the tournament goes as well.
They are. Like we said back in the early days of the tournament, feels like a long time ago now, 5 days. We've had so much siege in that time frame, it's been crazy. But it did start off wobbly for BDS. We saw the little moment, I guess, that Leaky Pack had where he was saying to his team, look, sort it out, basically. This is an absolute mess. It's embarrassing in much stronger terms than what I've just put it in, admittedly. But things have looked a lot better since then. PSG, they've equally warmed up as well. They started out quite poor. They have got better as things have gone on. But unfortunately, you are against one of the favourites to win the tournament, so as good as things might be, this one is always going to be a hard matchup to come out on top of.
Look, I was always going to try and sell it for PSG. I was always going to get excited about them, but
just for that 1 in a million times, you're right. Like
exactly,
like the 1v5 the other day.
It's all about the dream. It's all about the dream. But, you know, we've got to also focus on reality as well sometimes, and the reality is that, yeah, they're out at the minute, and BDS are starting to run away with this, and I don't think it's going to get any easier for them on Clubhouse. You know, we also, of course, have to focus on BDS's performance and the way that they're dealing with it, and, you know, the ease that they win in some of these fights with. I like, you know, to be positive for PSG as well, I like the adaptation that we've seen after the tactical timeout. They've obviously taken on board what's been said. They have played with more aggression, and they have yielded some results from it. Just unfortunately, not the results they want. They haven't managed to turn them into rounds.
Nothing else, Tim. On the defending side, everything can change. Plenty of time.
It can.
You know, I'm the first person to say there's two halves to a game of Siege
as well.
Yeah, I mean, Chanka, I was a bit like, I really thought Smoke might have been a better one here for them, but Soul just believes he can make it work, then fair enough. BDS still getting a lot of the setup work done here as well. It's stressing. They've got themselves up towards the R6 room doorway coming in from Zulu side, but outside of that, still looking to get things opened up here. Like, this wall's still being closed out. They need it open if they're going to try and make this hit work. Another 2 brow comes out. I believe they've still got one more in back pocket. Yes, they do. So still a lot still can be done. C4 coming out, not quite finding his man.
Thought about it in the right spot as well.
Yeah, right idea. Just Shaiko was to the side of the wall. Unfortunate timing.
Ryder's going to be looking to push back up there. He's got cover from Yas as well. Nice crossfires being established here from PSG. With only 25 seconds left to go, BDS are going to need to make a move here. Breeder has got the diffuser in hand, but they haven't really got themselves the full control of site yet to be able to think about putting this down. Misa's going to find one. Yas absolutely slaps Shaiko there. Ryder finds Leak of Fight, 3 versus 2, and the onslaught at the end of the round is not falling in the favour of BDS. Gotti manages to pick him up, and PSG get themselves a second round on a solid defense, and who knows, Des, maybe we see them grabbing a few back and making a game of this.
I think that was really good stall from their side as well. You saw the 2 brow coming out. We saw the Tachanka coming out as well. A little bit doubtful of that at first. I thought maybe a smoke would have been stronger, but the rotation that he was employing was to drop 2 or 3 of those canisters at the same time in a given area and just making sure that BDS couldn't push on through. That's what led to that late round panic, that late round flourish, where they had to force their way in largely from Mez side and got punished pretty hard for it. Really well thought out by PSG Talon. BDS a little bit slow to start things out. That won't always be the case here, of course. No. So we are going to see things step up a little bit for BDS in terms of pace, and PSG Talon are going to have to change their tune a little bit. But for now, take that win, and let's see if we can roll it into more.
I think this set is going to be more difficult for PSG. And the reason it will be more difficult is because they're going to have to hold it from above. And BDS, I think, will almost certainly go on the clearance above. Where PSG just tried to go direct to site, I don't think BDS will give them that good grace. They will go in through the first floor. They'll be looking to clear it out, to get those verticals, and to make life as difficult as possible. You've got Shaiko on the Deimos. That's exactly what he's there to do. Get those tracks, go across, clear it out. So they're going to have to win fights in that mid floor. Otherwise, BDS are going to have significant control, I would expect.
The maps, as for the sites that have seen any real major playtime, it's most attacker leaning off the bunch, a positive win rate for attackers team, which feels quite rare to be able to say these days. Always a good thing.
Yeah.
So for BDS, if you are going to get the round on the line and get yourself up to a 6-2, now really is the time to do it, unless Misa can pull off something absolutely spectacular with that Skopos. We speak about it to the death, and we love seeing Skopos being brought out.
Just an exciting operator, isn't it? It's just
Very
one of them.
So. And it's dead.
Misa's going to suffer early again. Another early death, unfortunately. This time it's going to be Leak Effect.
They think there's a Ryder on a drone. They know he's here.
And they do know that Ryder is in this position. BDS not over-aggressing this. They know they don't need to wander into his line of sight. They're just going to bide their time. Ryder has a look, but takes some damage for the pleasure. It might just be time to get yourself back to site there.
I've seen the drone ever since he first walked into that room, so there was no way he was getting away with a freebie there for sure. BDS weren't going to let it happen. So those yellow pings has been switched over to that viewpoint last second. First phone call coming out here from Breed as well. Is anyone home? Only a couple being caught out here because the rest, well, sat around those mute jammers, Tim, that give you that blockage away from them.
Interestingly, BDS haven't gone for the verticals at this point. They haven't yet worked their way in above. Everybody's down in the basement level. It's Usus, of course, on the Ram that we're looking potentially to get himself in and start opening things up above. Leak Effect needs to be careful. There's feet holes there.
Hello?
He's stood in front of him. Of course they're going to know that you're on the wall. Take a few pot shots through. He's lucky to only lose the soft breach charge. It could have been much worse for him. Usus is in now. Usus is in. This is an important point.
There's someone upstairs with him as well, so he's got to be careful here. I'm sure they know about it. BDS have been pretty meticulous with their drone players you've seen, looking to play together off the back of them, though those numbers are starting to thin down. The can get stung if they're not careful. There's no phone calls left either. Yes, there's a couple of Deimos tracks, but you commonly see players like Shaiko and Maya save the last couple for the late round. When there's only a couple left, it makes it so much easier to close things out.
This could be a genius play from Gotti. He's let users do the work, so it opens up the verticals. If he gets the kill on him, he's then got the full advantage of the verticals that BDS have given him. Let the Ram do the legwork and then just go in and take advantage of it. He just needs to time it right. He could use the noise of that boogie drone as well to disguise his movement, to disguise him pushing in.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah, he just needs to get the kill. It's so easy for him. And now he's got the verticals that the Ram opened up. Yas manages to find Shaiko 3v2 as he goes big and gets a second onto Leakafak. Soldier takes down Breedy, and the attack just crumbles as Yas gets a third, and BDS can't get it done. And that play from Gotti was beautiful. Let the Ram do the work. Let the Ram open it all up, and then wander in and get the kill. And that was unlike BDS. They had absolutely no idea that Gotti was there.
I think ultimately, Yas was the man of the moment. 3 kills, really barely moving his feet, to be honest. He ran away before the third one, but came back to the same spot to secure the third and final one. Did a lot of the work. But I think knowing that pressure's taken off by the vertical not being in your control is a massive one, because BDS then don't have the option to say, cool, let's just plant shallow. We've got the control. Oh no, we've lost our vertical player. There's no longer any cover, so they're forced to go deep. And who's waiting when you run deep? The rest of PSG Talon. So although Gotti himself didn't net the big amount of kills there, it did come down to BDS being forced into the waiting arms of the rest of PSG Talon that ultimately gave them the round. 2 in a row, Tim. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you believe right now?
The belief scale is maybe about a 3. The needle's wobbling.
Okay.
As the needle's wobbling, it might move. Look, BDS are still looking very, very good. That's the reality. Yes, PSG Talon have got themselves a couple of rounds. BDS are fully focused on getting that top spot in this group. Make no mistake about it. They just want to get it locked down. Attack is generally going to be a little bit more difficult if it's on a map that you don't play very often, because yes, you've got to be adapting more. Yes, you've got to be playing into what PSG want to do in this case. Do I expect BDS to still come and win this? Yes, I do. I think they are going to go and find successful attacks. They're now on the 3rd choice site. PSG Talon have gone through their first 2 choices. I would expect to see a very strong clearance coming in from BDS here to send a message. You know, we're not playing here. We're not messing about. We are going to make life difficult for you now. They'll want to get this over the line.
What a bit of stall to play with, though.
However...
okay. I assume he was aiming to get him below here and do some work with the... I don't know, actually. It's on the same floor. Was he looking to try and work his way down some stairs and make use of the IQ for picking things out from below? I don't know. There's a lot of gadgetry that he can destroy with that IQ, but giving your life away so early in the round feels like a big slip up on Leakafak's side.
It feels like the sort of situation now where, you know, a bit of frustration could creep in on the side of BDS, where it's a game, you know, they'll be giving full respect to PSG Talon, but it's a game that they'll be, you know, expecting realistically to come away with a win, and they are being stretched at this point over the last couple of rounds. Be careful, Shaiko. He's just above you. Just like ships in the night, they will pass without knowing of each other's presence as Misa heads off into the map. 4 versus 5, BDS need a couple of kills.
Shaiko heard him, I think, but has no idea where he's gone. And the blessing here, I think, for PSG more than anything else, is Shaiko's been sat here now for, what, 30 seconds? A lot of time to lose on the attacking side here when you could be focusing on things like this, starting to open up the site, for example, starting to figure out where a player or two might be. He's still really conscious of what could be going on above, and rightly so. If you haven't got that vertical control, it can bite you big time.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, BDS not really playing for that. They've got Solotov up there on the Blackbeard, but he hasn't really made too much progress here. He's trying to push in now, and that's exactly what's going to happen now. He manages to get the kill. I thought for a second Gotti was going to spray him down there, but there's another one to be found. But no, again, they've no idea that he's in that position. Yas picks up Breedy. The intel game is not great for BDS. They've only got 3 drones left, and they keep walking into people. However, they are just outgunning Shaiko users. They pick up 1 apiece, and now they are low health, though. This is winnable for Yastes.
He's had a good game so far, and he's only got alarm body shots too.
He's got the diffuser down. He's got the diffuser down.
They must know where he is, though. The thing is, the backstab could be coming in. Shaiko in a 1 versus 1, not finding his man yet. Almost spins onto Yuzus, but can't find him. Yas put down, and BDS move up to 6-3.
Really well played from BDS there. The most important thing that you saw was the way that Shaiko and Users had separated. We speak about team play all the time and the ability to affect each other's deaths, and that's what they had done there. They had created a situation where it was extremely unlikely that Yas could fight both of them. It didn't matter if he got the kill onto Shaiko. Shaiko was almost the bait there. The diffuser's down. Yas is going to be watching the diffuser, so I go in to try and grab it. That's the fight he's going to take, and Users comes in on the backside and gets the kill. Absolutely beautiful stuff from BDS in what could have been a tough situation. That was very winnable for Yas there, make no mistake. Both of them on low health. If he hits that first shot onto Shaiko and has that second to react, then who knows, maybe it goes differently. But the fact is, BDS played it well. Good stuff from them. 6-3, map point.
It's a shame because PSG Talon really have played this game well.
The last few rounds, really impressive.
Looking even at the numbers, like they've got more entries than BDS. They've come out on the top in the early round. They've got 3 multi-kills so far. Misa, Ryder, and Yas all taking 1 each. They've put on a bit of a show, and the scoreline, I think, honestly, doesn't reflect how well they've played. And maybe that's because we're looking at them as underdogs and really highlighting all the small things they're doing particularly well. And obviously, there's a lot of things that have gone wrong during that time as well. But 7-3, if it ends this way, won't really feel like it reflects actually how well PSG have battled through this game.
I think, yeah, if this ended, you know, a 7-4, 7-5, or even a bit of overtime, I'd say, yeah, you know, they'd probably earned that. But ultimately, like you said, we've got to come back to reality a little bit as well. And you feel like this was probably PSG's big opportunity. Once you get into that second and third map, Clubhouse and Chalet, you better believe the difficulty's going up again as well.
Yeah, Chalet especially, I think, is going to be the hard one. As I mentioned, BDS are 6-1 in recent history on that map. It is not going to be happy fun time trying to deal with it. The clash up here on Highway, at least, is spotting out what's going on to this wall, which was a bit of fear, I think, in the other side of BDS. Often you'll see players when trying to open up this mass wall are constantly spinning around and checking that no one's pushing on towards that highway and threatening you from those windows. And just seeing a clash there suggests information is being fed back and forth. That's why they've now had to push and open up that top side window to push Misa back.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Misa trying to hide from the drones, and obviously, I think, you know, managed to do that because there's no real answer to the clash on the side of BDS. They've got the impact EMPs for Leak Effect. That could help them. They've got a couple of nades on Shaiko, which could help them, but they've not really been brought along specifically for that purpose in order to be able to deal with that clash. So we'll just see exactly how they manage that situation as the round continues. Leak Effect just taking out that bit of utility. Valkyrie camera will be gone, just trying to work underneath, but a minute 30 here has gone, Des, and I'm looking and thinking, what have BDS got? What control have they got? What pressure have they applied? And at the moment, it's not a lot.
Not yet.
Not
but
yet.
It can suddenly explode. They've done a lot of the focus work early on, like getting the wall opened up and then rotating all the players over to go and focus a different part of the map. So they're kind of working through the little checklist of things they need to get done before they can actually get set up for the execute. I would expect to see someone coming in for the backstab on that mass wall a little bit later on. But for now, by the looks of it, the big focus is instead here for Shaiko and getting him in through this display window. And Bella's ready to support. Nothing as of yet. The first track coming through. Sorry, second track of the round coming through here. Warden being picked out because he's the one that can threaten this Ying. If they know where it is, they can play around that.
Little bit dangerous, though, because, of course, it does force Shaiko onto that Vendetta while the track is active. He's very good with it, don't get me wrong, but it does potentially put him in a situation where fighting multiple enemies could be difficult. Misa manages to pick up the entry, Leak Effect taken down, so that's the door could be gone, and any impact EMPs that were remaining to deal with that clash go with him. Ryder manages to find Users. They're cutting him down one by one, got it, managing to find the kill onto Solotov, and I feel like BDS are suffering the same problem that PSG had on the attack, and that is they're being a little bit too slow, a little bit too tentative, and they're not being able to find that gap in order to exploit, to find the room, and they now 1v5 almost to breed it. Tries to style it out with the spin on the clash, but can't quite make it. It doesn't matter as Gotti comes in with the final kill. PSG, they keep the dream alive. It's 4-6.
If he got away with that, it would have been so funny, but the big thing about that round, it was very uncharacteristic of BDS, to be honest with you, Tim.
It was very slow, and there just wasn't much to it.
I don't mind it being slow, because slow rounds, we've seen teams play excellently playing slow. What I'm more concerned about is it was very isolated. Every player was pushing in for a 1v1, another 1v1, another 1v1. When you look back at how they played things previously, the infamous banana at LAN, we love those. when you normally look at how BDS play, they attack as a team. They'll flood in, and a lot of good teams this tournament have done this as well, where you're applying pressure from multiple angles all at once, or you're all pushing in to play for trades off each other. There was no attempted trades in that round. There was no real team play. Everyone had their own thing to do, which in itself is a fair strategy. You want to push in from 4 or 5 different angles at once, go for it. But just be aware that things like the smokes that we saw, or the yokais in this case, can impede a couple of players from being able to move, and that does force out a lot of 1v1s. So BDS there, I think, being, frankly, really outclassed by PSG. Not a line I thought I'd be saying too often today. Down we go to Lab and Lab support for what could be the last round again. It is round 11. Lab, at least, I'm happy to say at least, I'm very proud of how PSG Talon are playing. I'm proud of how they're backing themselves. And I'm sure Fabian is very happy with how things are going, even if they aren't walking away as the winner.
The reality here is, this is competitive.
It is.
Is the reality. Can PSG take this to overtime? Yes, I believe they can. Will they? That's a different question. And we'll see how that plays out in the next couple of rounds, because you're against BDS and they can just turn around. But the point is that PSG are giving them nothing. There is nothing easy for them here. We've seen them faltering on their attack specifically. Yes, Lair is a map they don't normally play. PSG Talon have picked it for that reason. They've taken them there and they've given themselves the opportunity. And whatever the outcome here of Lair, of the entire matchup, I think PSG Talon can hold their heads high. And like you say, I think Fabian is happy with the outcome of what they've put down.
Yeah. Let's say the outcome of the map itself.
Well, look, of course they want wins. Of course they want wins. But in terms of the performance, yeah, I think they can be happy.
Massively improved. That obviously it won't be. It'll be quite bittersweet come the end of the day when they are knocked out and heading home, unless they can get something over the line. A reminder, by the way, they haven't strictly got to win this map. They've just got to win 2, and then the rest really comes down to other results, and then they've got a chance of still holding on. That win yesterday definitely did a lot to see them in with a chance of staying. They do need to win at least 2 here against BDS. Yeah,
they need to take the majority of the points, whatever that looks like. It needs to be an overall win. And then it'll come down to the Falcons and Raza Company game, because they will jump ahead of teams. So somebody, Falcons, will need a win to then overtake PSG. And the pressure's on at that point. So let's see what happens in round 11. BDS continue trying to get this done. Rida is going to be working into Warehouse with the Blackbeard for the time being. PSG seem to be playing this as they have so far on the defense. Fairly measured, mostly inside of sight. They've got Misa up on the first floor. The thing is, they're not going to get away with what they did last time. Of course, they were able to cut users down after he'd done that vertical work. BDS aren't going to fall for that one again. They may well play in to clear him out. They may well play to just leave him up there in the cold. We'll see which way BDS go, but you can guarantee they shouldn't be getting hit on the flank by him.
Didn't know. As he tucks in. Has to know that Shaiko's close. This is such a common point of contestation down on the basement. You see Shields normally pushing in this angle. You see C4 singing up over the top. Now he's got to know. He's going to drone run past you 2 or 3 times. There is a player here. Someone is pushing after you, and he still can't get rid of the drone. But the longer that Gotti can keep him at bay here, it's not a bad thing. We're already down to about 1 minute and 15, Tim. And BDS, again, could be at risk here of being a little bit too spread out. Shaiko is very commonly the solo backstab player. It's what he likes doing. That's his playstyle. And that is completely fine. The rest of the team, as you can see, are all grouped out towards that east side, but they don't have the vertical. I just saw a red outline to them. I'm pretty sure above them. They've got to be really careful here.
Yeah, BDS right now have got their line set up. You can see Breeder, Users, Solotov, Leakafat. They're all looking to move in from that side. And like you say, Shaiko goes on the backstab. It may well be, if he gets the kill onto Gotti, that's like the go sign. He goes in, gets that kill, and then is able to take a lot of focus whilst the team move in from the other side. Gotti needs to stand tall here. He's got an idea of where Shaiko's going to come from. The nade comes in, downs him. Well played from Shaiko. And that now maybe says for the rest of the team to go, but Gotti's going to survive as well. What a rescue from Yas.
Not over yet, though, and there's that vertical coming into play, Tim. We spoke about it being ignored. They've got in and got the kills they need. Leakafat's good for 3. Yas and Misa to hold on now. The 2 top gunners on this team to keep BDS at bay.
Yeah, BDS may well have the space now to start putting that diffuser down as well. Breeder has it in hand, just needs to pick his spot. But how about that? Yas drops him and drops the diffuser. 3 seconds, Leakafat's got it in hand. He's going to have to tie down, but no! He runs out of time! BDS lose launches another attack, and PSG Talon, they keep the dream alive, Des!
Oh, I could kiss Yas for that. Playing the trade-off got it. I don't want to say he's so much baited his teammate there, but he's used the fact that he's down, knowing that Shoko wants to come in and confirm the kill to guarantee a trade. And Shoko's like a bloodhound, Tim. He knows he's down. He wants to finish and doesn't really fully consider that he might be getting baited. This is exactly what the intended counter was for Deimos, is you go for the trap player and you don't know where anyone else is, they can punish you. That's where things like Dokkaebi coming alongside the Deimos and really help you in those situations. But BDS, they aren't playing the Dokkaebi as much as they normally do, and they're crumbling at points here. A leaky fat 3K, not enough to see them through. We're one round off overtime, Tim, and my God, do I want to see PSG Talon get us there.
Woo! Yeah, it's always the risk for a Deimos player. It's tunnel vision. You've got that intel, you've got that information on one player, and that's the beauty of the operator. You become solely focused on that point in front of you, and sometimes you will be punished for that. And that is exactly what has happened there to Shoko, PSG Talon. And I'm sure their fans are seeing the belief needle wavering, Des, heading towards 4. Maybe, just maybe, they're able to keep this one going.
The one thing worth remembering, if we do get to overtime, it was PSG Talon's map pick. They choose the starting side. And I can almost guarantee you they will not have picked attack. They will have chose to go on defense. Both teams did pick attack going into Chalet, but on this map, it's going to be defense. And we've seen both teams, if PSG Talon get this done, take 5-1 halves. Every chance they can get this done.
BDS, kind of, I'm not going to say it's now or never. You know, I'm more than capable of winning in overtime, but the reality is they don't want to see themselves get there. I think they all, you know, they don't really need their mental testing in this game like that. You know, with being pushed and pushed and pushed, and especially, you know, from the position that they were in. I don't think they're going to mind too much, like I say, given that Lair is a map that they just don't normally play. It's not going to affect them too much, but they will certainly want to get it done. The drones are raining in across that top floor. Mute has been targeted, as we see. So Misa, they're going to be aware of his position for the time being, but I think he's got a mute jammer with him that he's just stepped into, so that track is wasted.
Down to the last 2. BDS have looked a little bit slow at points throughout this half, Tim.
They have.
Every chance that PSG can hold, as long as they don't lose players in silly ways in the early round, then I think they'll be okay. That's where they've really been bitten off, I think, throughout this game. And again, I remind you that on entries overall, PSG Talon still stand in the positive compared to BDS. They've had good early rounds quite consistent. They've lost players sometimes in less than ideal circumstances, and Gotti might yet be victim of this round. Hooked in, being pushed potentially from both sides. Interestingly to remember, this is exactly how the first round started. It was a push onto this exact position, and things moved on from there. Not going to be able to get rid of the smoke just yet, but down to almost now the last 60. Yas wasn't far off going down here. Still alive and standing for now. All 10 players up with 60 seconds to play.
Smart play from Gotti there to just waste more time.
He saw the bullets on the right. He knows there's 2 players.
He knows that he's going to be pushed. He's going to be pinched. He's just doing everything he can to hold on for
3
as long as possible. Get another one out there. He's just going to firm the nade. He's burning beautiful time here, Des. He maybe doesn't get a life, but they're down to 45 seconds. That's it. Flip to the shotgun. Take the tight angle. Gotti might just come away with something here. He's going to be bullied by the Blackbeard, but they're taking so much time to do this. Breeder is relocating. Gotti goes for it. He gets 1. Can he get 2? No. Users manages to find the kill. He will pick up the down Shiko, but that's it. 2.5 minutes wasted by the smoke.
Ryder's up above them as well. They've managed to drop down in time, but if he starts his move and isn't caught out, they're in trouble. One's gone down. Meters onto another. Tim, they're going to do it. They can't quite get the Blackbeard. It's a 3 versus 3.
Just need to hold on.
Ryder.
10 seconds left to go. He's moving back down.
Does
he know? Yes, he reacts. 3v1. It looks like they're going to hold on, Des. It's all up to users. And Des, we're going to overtime.
How on earth have they held on? Wow. 5-1 down. It looked like it was chalked. It looked like it was over. Wow.
What a match we are seeing. I genuinely, you know, all the dreams aside for the PSG fans, I genuinely expected to come in here and see BDS, you know, clear through this. Not too much of a problem. But PSG, they're giving us some real excitement on the Friday morning, Des.
I love a minute ago, Leo popped up in our contact group chat. Remind me to never tell us straight with Des and Tim in the same room. All you want to do is go and watch their game. And what a game it is to watch, Leo. It's 6-6.
This is PSG and BDS that are providing all of this. We just get excited about it.
And what's not to get excited about? Even we were studying here saying, like, look, there are levels here. It's 5-1. BDS push on for a couple of rounds here. The dream's over. They show the dream is never truly dead in Korea, Tim. They've pulled it back up.
The belief needle. I'm just checking it.
What is
We're up to 5.
What's going to happen to get it a bit higher than that, Tim? Maybe another map
They get
to go
this map
way?
and get a good start on Clubhouse. We might be at a 6 or a 7. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
I've just had a heart rate warning from a watch as well.
Brilliant. This, look, all jokes aside,
Ryder.
This is what we get up for as Siege fans. This is the beauty. We don't want to see anybody lose. We don't mind who wins. We just want a close game. We've got some overtime, and we'll see which team are able to dominate. Look at this!
It's the
confidence is up. Ryder steps out, takes down Breedy, and that's the sense.
That's the key
That's
one.
the focus of the attack for BDS.
No. I tell you what, every kill feels like it's about to decide SI itself.
It's only map 1.
That's what it's all about. Okay. Let's settle. Right, what's actually going on, Tim? What's going on? Let's take a look. Diffuser is down outside. It was a good little play. They got rid of the sense, one of the key execute gadgets in this round. Otherwise, it's the same story as last time. Dig in. BDS really saw the clock running down towards 0 last time they were attacking this site. If you remember, it was the crazy, silly little 1v1s they were taking. They were very split up and spread out. That's only going to be worse now because you bring the Sens along to help isolate off some sight lines, make it easier to push in. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, boys, without a Ying on side, without a Sens on side, that's now really hard once again, and they still haven't got the diffuser back yet. Right. Casters are biased, it's clear. We're EU casters, man! Come on now! We just love a good story.
Look, it's just a good story for the day. That is the reality
is always
of it.
such a crack. I love it.
Dear me. I think you're quite welcome to watch your back. We've heaped praise on BDS at times as well. But right now, PSG, they're the ones that are providing the excitement. BDS struggling to get this over the line. Like I say, a strong reminder that we're in a position whereby they're playing a map that is always banned by them. It's permaban. 18 bans to 1 pick in recent history. So BDS may not have been coming in here expecting to get everything they want. It's going to get more difficult as we go on. But
he's snuck in.
He has snuck in. This could be
he's missed.
Big moment, but Gotti manages to find the kill. Takes down Solito. BDS are on the back foot. As Shaiko taken out as well. It's 1v5.
Gotti?
Surely not a flawless round.
4K?
But Gotti goes huge.
Forget that name. He's Gotti now. Look at him go, Tim. He's got a 4K in one of the most crucial rounds required. Fabian's loving it as much as we are. Understandably. He's behind the team and he's saying to him, just one more round. And BDS, they look a bit rocked, Tim.
Oh dear. They really, look.
BDS are their own worst enemy when it comes to situations like these. The mental can really pull them down.
The reality of the situation facing them at the minute is that BDS were 5-1 up against PSG Talon. They will have expected to go on and win that. That is the reality. They are now 7-6 down. They are 1 round away, not from losing the whole thing, from losing Lair. And, you know, yes, there's a lot of excitement there. Nobody expected PSG Talon to take a map. It looks like they might.
Wow.
But, like I said, there is a mountain still to climb for PSG. They've got to go to Chalet. They've got to, you know, it's not going to be easy for them. That much is absolutely certain. Chalet and Nighthaven. I think I'd got Clubhouse in my head earlier. Is it?
No, Clubhouse got banned, yeah.
Clubhouse got banned. So Chalet and Nighthaven, you know, neither of those would I want to play BDS on. That much is a fact. So things get a lot harder from here, but they're having their moment on Lair.
I didn't fancy playing them on Lair, knowing it's one of their opponent bands that they've chose to bring out on the last day. Probably thinking, honestly, BDS underestimating PSG a bit and thinking, you know what? We can afford to show. We're going to ban it the rest of the tournament. We'll play them there, sure. Yeah. But now you're giving them that little bit of hope, that little bit of belief that one more map after this.
And it's a funny thing that happens when teams win a map.
Falcons are sweating right now. I'll tell you that much. They are sweating buckets. Because if PSG win this 1-2-0, Falcons are looking pretty short. They still have the chance, of course, to hold on. But they play against Razo Company, as we mentioned earlier, and I believe also that could also look a little bit pear-shaped if they're not too careful. Razo have got the head-to-head against PSG. So really, we need Falcons to... Well, we need Falcons. PSG need Falcons to fall short. So really, all hopes then ride on Razor Company pulling off something special in their game. But I get to that point first, though, Tim. We'll see if we even get there. It's going to be...
BDS need to just focus on the fundamentals now. They need to keep it default. It doesn't need to be anything special. It doesn't need to be anything crazy. We've already seen PSG be a little bit slow and lack a little bit of confidence when on the attack particularly. Perfect. BDS need to play into that. Just, you know, try and slow them down. Make life difficult for them. They've got the Legion there. They've got the Warden. They've got the Valkyrie camps. Nice. Nitro comes out. Going to do a lot of damage. Solitov picks up Ryder elsewhere. This is good from BDS. This is all they needed to do. Just meet them at the edges of the building. Slow them down. Don't allow them in. Focus on the fundamentals. BDS looking good. 5 versus 4.
The Ying being gone is a real stinger there. Yes, there's uses on the other side, but as we saw BDS making good use of it, you can find out where that Warden is. You can ignore where he is and chuck the Candelas elsewhere. Also got things like that Dota on side still. Now Soldiers down to low HP. Less so of a reliance on the Blackbeard. They've still got 3 more C4s to play behind here, BDS as well, Tim. They've got the tools to hold on. Which means, well, I'll let you say the line in a minute if we get there, Tim, but it feels like there's only one way that we're headed.
Yeah, it certainly does. Like you say, Soldier low health, just struggling to find anything to go on. Users managers to pick him up. 5 versus 3. BDS seem to have rallied Dez. They seem like they're going to be holding on to this one without too much of a problem. Leakerfact finds his shots onto Yas. 5v2. It's up to Misa and Gotti. Misa manages to pick up Shaiko. It's a glimmer of hope in what seems like a lost round at the minute. The Valkyrie takes the drop. Solitov back onto site to try and shore things up. Misa keeps going, but Leakerfact, he takes down Gotti. Misa, he's going to have to get an ace if he wants to close this out. BDS are holding from above as well. He's taking damage. They know where he is. And Dez, we're going all the way to 15.
Ooh, I just really hope for PSG here, Tim, they haven't lost a bit of that steam now that they've been on that side and lost the round, because you say it all the time, winning is a habit. And look how many rounds they won in a row. What, 4 or 5 rounds in a row? Of what, 6 of 7 they won. It was absolutely ludicrous to get us to this point. And BDS hopefully slightly buoyed and reminded they can do this. We're going down to the basement to see how things close out, Tim. There's been a big common trend across this site where vertical control has not been taken by the attackers. Did BDS choose to change that up now, or do we go for more of the same?
I like to see from the side of BDS that they seem to have remained pretty calm throughout. There's not been... The energy's dropped a little bit maybe from what we saw at the beginning of the game. You'd expect that. You found yourself in a really tough Lair game against PSG Talon. But they... Lair. They still seem pretty level about it. They've got themselves back to 7-7. That was a good round. It was exactly what they needed to do. PSG Talon were nowhere near, really. So it's up to BDS now to try and get this cleared out. Now, every time they've gone in once with users above and tried to use the verticals. I'll criticise both teams for this. On the basement attack, we haven't really seen a lot of use of those verticals. Users is on the ram again this time. They just need to make sure that they have thoroughly cleared the map out. That was the fault of BDS last time. Gotti was able to slip the net, go in and get the kill onto users and take the verticals that he created. It was well played by PSG Talon, but he's up there on his own. Oh, Misa's joined him, actually. There is 2 of them, but it's a real opportunity for BDS to just go in numbers with a bunch of them. They've got the Deimos, get the tracks going out, get across that mid floor, get it cleared out, and work your verticals. You should be 5 or 4 versus 3, and then you can start pressuring onto site as well.
We're miles off catching Misa on that pullback from Rocket Door there. But keeps himself alive for now. Just again reminding BDS, you can get tripped up in the early round the same way that Shaiko has caught them out a couple of times throughout this game. This encourages them to slow things down and double check everything on their drones, which really, when BDS has struggled with time already, is a great idea. Drones going in upstairs. Correct idea, because Misa, as you can see, that outline in the distance is still up here. We've already seen players causing a lot of headaches for BDS on the upstairs. Whether it's retaking it, whether it's making use of it in the first place, it has not been BDS's ally.
First kill is going to be really important here. We can see the initial boogie drone just being used to create a hole in that soft wall so that users can head on inside of the area that he needs to be. They are very conscious now of potentially these players
still
up
tucked
there.
in?
He is still tucked in. Misa is the one that they need to find. They need to make sure that they are locating him and that they are ready for it. Users is getting those verticals going. He's used the boogie drone. The question is, when does Misa go? They cannot be punished again on this floor, Des.
This is the same spot. He got pushed from that door to his left last time, so Misa doesn't want to come from that same spot. It becomes a bit predictable. They'll have a flank drone on it. You just assume that preparation is going to be there. Misa could try something a little bit different here, conscious where drones may be. Not around just yet. My question really towards Juice is he aware? He is back on the drones here, and you've also got Shaiko joining him up.
Coming in.
Who's going to find who first?
That's the big one. Shaiko's coming in with him. Misa gets picked up on a drone more than likely. Even if they weren't actively on it, they'll have known that it's been taken out. He's still trying to hold on to above. Shaiko needs to be getting the track on. They're going to have an idea that it's the Legion that's up there at this point, I would expect.
The key difference is Shaiko's not pushing those back stairs, so Gotti for now at least is relatively ineffective. They found one though. Leakefak has fallen down. The ace offline, not the biggest loss in the world. But Tim, they haven't cleared these verticals. They're trying to push inside of sight, and they've got the second kill. Ride is good for 2 in the round. 3 more kills, and they take the map.
It certainly looks like it could go that way right now. Shaiko, Breeder, Users, they have got a job to do to rescue Lair. Users finds one, Shaiko another. This is the danger of BDS that you always face. They are always capable of turning it around.
Plant's going down.
Time is back to 10 seconds. Shaiko hits the shot. Soldier, he goes down, but Shaiko does as well. 2v2, Diffuser down, and BDS, they show their quality in the final moments. It's all up to Gotti. He has had big plays so far, but he's going to need the biggest of all right now, Des. 1v3, goes to a 1v2. He knows that he's against the clock. BDS, they surely hold on, but no.
He's got to go upstairs.
He finds the kill, 1v1. The clock is ticking, and it's his biggest enemy right now, Des.
Jesus is just going to run away is the problem here. I don't think he's going to have the time. Timmy's run out as well. That is such heartbreak for PSG Talon. They were so close to getting it done, but ultimately, the clock works against them. They won't be able to hold on. Users will pull him off, and BDS will take it in round 15. But my God, have PSG Talon made themselves proud.
BDS just showing their quality at the end there. 3 versus 5. Users and Shaiko went huge for the team when it was needed, and that is a great turnaround from BDS. They were run the distance by PSG Talon. Mentally, I'm sure that could have been a tough game, but they've shown the resilience that you need as a team looking to win a tournament, and they've got themselves a big first map win.
Maybe they can do it on Chalet, Tim. I don't know. They need a break to figure this one out, and so will we. Back with you in just a few.
Tap, yeah, I want that. No lines, I don't cut back. Sweet, salty, and all that. Let loose, come get that. Can you play that back, back, back? Can you run that back, back, back? I'm trying to play that back, back, back. I want that. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Right here, can you feel? Let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Right here, can you feel that? Ooh, you feel that? Ooh, the real back. Ooh, I'm still that. Ooh, you catch that? Ooh, I guess that. The best back. Yeah, yeah. 30,000 up, I'm a pilot. Might jump out if I'm wildin'. Catch my flow, I'm so stylish. Tap, tap, real smooth. Can you play that back, back, back? Can you run that back, back, back? I'm trying to play that back, back, back. I want that. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Tap, tap, let's go, let's go. Right here, can you feel? Let's go.
There is a fine line between ambition and greatness. The only thing harder than getting to the top is staying there.
Nice shot by Nade. Army crawling his way. Turns to answers back, but Nade! Excuse me!
Handy. Nade.
Oh!
Shuts down his brother! Into red time we go. Where's the response? No! The couple through.
Have you ever noticed that nobody ever asks, when does Ashen play? That's because when SSG hit the stage, people generally know.
Second! And the counter disabled to win the round and has done very little since. Oh my goodness, Benjamaster with 2.
This is gonna stick for SSG, Des!
It is, and look at the cover chain. I know it's not a back room. It's killed 4!
This is it, you look at both sides and you think there's somebody who's gonna step up, get slippy, finds himself a second, Des! Making a third! It's a 3K!
The king without a crown. BDS have conquered a continent.
Fire was the best console that we've seen. Oh my, always is a target!
This can be made successfully.
Information from the bees. It goes in. Shotgun.
And he swings on to Dodes. Vintage Breede showing up, running out of time.
Round in the corner, bees. Information. Shaiko pushing for it. Nafe is there.
This team has talent, experience, style, and a fish.
Reaps in the 1v1. Relocating towards Raptor. What a swing and a quad. Disgusting quad.
Fabian runs with Buck. They will get the plant down. Leader again taking another 1v1. He knows the plant is close and he gets the headshot kill.
When he'll move in, and it doesn't matter because never mind. Time, right? He's got to push forward. Reaps might be able to hop up before he gets there. Or sprinting up, he doesn't know. The 1v2.
Take a deep breath, Tim. I'm still it's on the come down
I
from
can't.
that last
I'm
map.
still shaking. What a map we've just had.
Absolutely manic. If you've just tuned in to hear what all the fuss was about, well, you've missed something truly spectacular. BDS were up 5-1, and we thought, looks like it's done. We were all resigned to, okay, for PSG Talon, it was just a dream. They pulled it back to overtime. It went to 7-7. They thought for a second they really had it nailed down, but BDS showed that touch of class in the clutch moments to make sure things were going their way. We now go into their map pick, Chalet, that they've got a 6-1 record on, Tim. It feels once again that PSG Talon's backs really are up against the wall. Do you dare to dream?
There's not many times.
Where's the belief meter now?
It's dropped to about we're down at, we're wobbling between a 2 and a 3 at the minute. I think in reality, well, it's not going to get easy on Chalet for PSG. You know, BDS. more commonly found playing on Chalet, I will say that. So going to be a tough one. But look, it's really difficult because you're really torn. It's like as an EU caster, we want to see BDS do well. We want to see them get into the final. We want to see them go a long way at this tournament. Shaiko, the story with SAI, just everything. But at the same time, as a dreamer, you just want to see PSG Talon do it. You can't help but love them. You know, they just came out and put up such a good performance. Look at the numbers across that. Ryder and Gautier particularly, they had those huge moments, you know, doing really well. Fantastic stuff. And look across at the stats on the side of
Four
BDS.
players in double digits
They are
overall.
matching them. They were matching them. Great game. Great game.
It's great for things to be as tight as they were. And again, I'll shout it out again. The entry was really strong for PSG on that last map. Got to do it all over again, though, going in towards Chalet Tim. They start out on the attacking side here as well. It's worth stressing. Both sides picking attack. If we do get to overtime again, BDS, they picked to start on attack when we get down to that point. And then when we get through to labs, well, we'll have a good chat about that when that one rolls around. Because, Tim, this could be over and done with in 2, as we said. BDS narrowly winning that first map. The second map, it's their home turf. For PSG, I do feel like it could be a stretch too far to get a win here, but never say never. I did see, by the way, a bunch of the BDS players, because when we go outside of our little casting area, they all walk down the corridor to go to the bathroom and stuff and to have a chat and whatever else, rather than staying around the player booths. They were like fervently ripping through pages of Chalet strats to make sure everything was ready, because they know there's a serious game on their hands here. It's not going to be easy. And a reminder again, they want all 4 points to finish top of their group, because you get a bye through that first round of the upper bracket. It's a big prize to get. You get to avoid the potential chance of being locked down to lower early on. Certainly can't complain. You'd rather have that extra spare life available to you later in the tournament.
Julio just trying to work his magic there as assistant coach for BDS as well, just coming on in, trying to offer some words of wisdom maybe to Lika Pak about getting this one locked out. But as you say, you know, very clear, I think, a very different energy on both sides of the curtain there. You've got PSG who are just kind of, they've not got the first map, but they've got to be happy with that performance, kind of just loving things. And then you've got BDS now getting laser focused. And this is kind of what I want to see from BDS. They need to make sure that they don't let it affect the energy too much. They got the map, yes, but they were stretched maybe further than they thought. And like I say about true champions, it's not about winning easy, it's about being able to win hard. And that's what BDS have just faced. They've got that map done, and it starts to tell us a little bit about their resilience as well. Yes, there may be sterner tests to come in the future, but it's about being able to dig deep when you need to and get it done.
Users are back taking their seats, so we'll be able to get into game in just a moment. Everyone else is in lobby and ready to go. In fact, everyone's in lobby, which is always a good sign. No setup to be done. Just once we've got ourselves with our headsets in, we'll be good to book and get underway. And just a reminder, Tim, this is only our first game of the day. What a start that first map has been to get the last day of groups cooking.
I'll tell you what, it wakes you up at 10 in the morning, doesn't it?
I mean, there's been so many events that we've come into previously where you get to the last day and it's a bit like, well, the group's already settled. We know who's going through. We know who's not. These games aren't really worth anything, but to still have PSG fighting on that last day for that spot. And Falcons, as I mentioned earlier, probably sweating looking on. If PSG can get 2 maps here, they take 3 points, they jump over Falcons. Falcons then need to get something from their series. They can afford to win just 1 map, and that will be enough. And to be fair, as a company, they started out strong, facing off against easier opponents on Wager. They have sort of started to falter a bit as the group has gone by, so Falcons will be really raring for that game.
We'll be getting on into things very, very shortly. Just getting everybody into the lobby. Won't be too long at all. But yeah, like you say, you know, Falcons, I'm sure, looking on, particularly at the end of Lair, they're thinking, ugh. You know, the thing is, if you came into the day, Des, say you're Falcons and you're coming into the day, and you're thinking, right, we basically just need PSG to lose.
Yeah.
And you could pick any team at the tournament for them to play against, needing them to lose. Like, BDS is surely one of the teams that you would pick. You'd be like, oh yeah, they're against BDS, it's fine. And then you'd be like, watching towards the end of Lair, thinking, this isn't happening, right? Right?
Right? It carries on. I won't lie to him at the start of the week when I saw the games that we were casting this week and I saw BDS, PSG Talon. I think anyone would look at that and go, okay, one of the bottom 2 teams versus one of the top 2 teams. I think that outcome feels a little bit predetermined. However, it feels anything but given how that first map went. You are still all behind BDS, of course. 88% of you at home, backing the boys in blue to get this one done. And I don't blame you at all. I would expect them to go on here. After a little bit of a potential upset, they will tighten things up here on a home map. Lair again being a very experimental one for them still. And that's how I think PSG Talon got so close with it being one of their go-to favourites. I think by the looks of BDS might have just dropped out the lobby, Tim, so we may have to get them back in again. Yes, we will. then we'll be able to get into games. So for now, enjoy the beautiful fly through a chalet as we get ourselves ready for the game.
Yeah, we'll get there as soon as we can do. I think, I don't know if it was maybe an order thing or just
Pulling it out as well.
Sort of
4-on-1 for Ryder entry last map. It was an absolute
Did really well.
demon.
Did really, really
How
well.
many entries did it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they, of all the entries in the game, they got 9 out of the possible 15. So again, really good. It's not often that you get to say, yeah, we're bringing down players like Leakifak and Shaiko on the entry. It was bruising for those two players. They didn't have a good time in that last map. And largely it came down to the other side. It was 1-4 on entry for Leakifak. He got bullied in the early rounds.
The big problem that they've got now is that they are playing much more of the BDS map. Chalet much higher in the map preference for BDS, generally speaking. It is somewhere that they will go and play, and I think, yes, we will see, you know, a bit more of a clinical performance coming out of BDS now.
For all that talk about, we talked about what Fabian spoke about on the Fresh and Friends podcast about the Korean culture and the way of it is. One thing I've seen over all the years in games, like whether it's in League of Legends or here in Siege or anything else as well, whenever you get Korean players, they tend to be very, very polite and respectful towards their opponents. You've had all the players from PSG Talon just jumping in the chat and being like, have fun, enjoy, all the rest of it. Always good to see that sportsmanship when they've got so much on the line, and this game now carries so much weight. Reminder again, BDS, blue team, they're on the defense, therefore bans are flips. The BDS have banned away Blitz, same as on the last map. And PSG Talon team, they ain't feeling it anymore. They're taking that Deimos away from Shaiko. You know, that is a bit too much of a terror on that operator. It's horrible, because I think back to the day when Shaiko was an absolute demon playing on the Iana. Similar story now today with the Deimos, where you just have to take it away from him because he's so damn good with it. Also going to follow up with the Valkyrie that I wouldn't say we see all that often on the last map. We did see it in a few of those rounds. I wouldn't say it was hyper impactful, but it was present and clearly did enough damage that PSG Talon wanted off the board. In this last ban then is coming out from BDS.
Yeah, we didn't really see, you know, the sort of classic, a lot of vertical nitros or anything like that, but the black eye cameras are often much more about the intel that they're going to bring along and the information that they're giving. It's the time wasting of having to go in and try and find them, make sure you've got them cleared, be counting them, have we got all 3, and so on and so forth. It can be a really tough one to have to play against. So we move on then to round 1. It's going to be down to the basement we go, as BDS will kick us off on the defense.
It will. Both teams choosing to start an attack here, so PSG choosing to start an attack in regulation, BDS choosing the same if we get to overtime. Big if on that one, Tim. Again, I'll be honest, and I'll say it with touching wood. I don't think we'll find ourselves getting there. Do you think with this being a really strong map for BDS, a mediocre map for PSG versus the opposite really back on Lair, and that's still going BDS way, I do think this one could be a pretty good shutout from BDS. A very strong performance from them is expected, but never say never.
Go as far as to say, Des, that I feel like now it kind of needs to be a really good performance from BDS. It's like, mentally, you can write off that chat, full respect to the players of PSG, very, very capable. BDS can come away from Lair and say, look, you know what, maybe it shouldn't have been that close, but it's one that we don't normally play. And we can write that off if they come out with a good, strong performance on Chalet.
Oh, surely not. Shoot back, Misa, shoot back, please.
Shots missed.
No, he got him! Let's go. That's what I want to start a series off, Tim. Let's go.
Well, it's game on, isn't it? Misa.
Look, Solotov, what the hell are you doing? That should have been a freebie. He wasn't even shooting back for the first second.
There must have been a strong breeze coming through Mudroom there because... Solotov, like you say, missing that opportunity for the opener, taking the chance, but he's just left BDS on the back foot a little bit. But who's there to rescue them? It's going to be Shaiko on the Legion, looking for more. Misa manages to take down Leakifak. Shaiko, not, I won't say low health, but half health. 3-day half health as well, but it's the same story on the other side. Misa and got him, but Misa's going big. It's a 3K. Shaiko taken down. 3 versus 2 early, within a minute of the first round kicking off.
Think about where things could be if Solotov had hit that shot onto Misa as he rounded the corner, completely unaware that there'd be someone at that window. Sure, Shaiko might have almost rescued that round back as well with a good couple of kills from that lobby stairs window. But somehow, Misa has wrenched it back their way, and they've got a 3 versus 2. I'm glad here, Tim, because what I said about them last map, if you remember, attacking into the basement, they hit too soon before the Dokkaebi call was online. They're waiting here for that 130 mark, at the very least, for it to be back on. There's 2 players alive here. You'll get that call off. Fair chance one might be sat on a mute jammer, admittedly. However, when all 3 of you are lined up and ready to hit, you make that call, you're in a good spot to win this.
Yeah, it's absolutely not a problem that they're just taking the time here. Just got to start working those verticals. BDS conscious of the hatch there to connector. They don't want to be losing too much vertical superiority here. Ryder just positioned, waiting, ready. He's got that diffuser in hand.
They can do
Being
this.
on main stairs, I think he's probably going to look to get behind the metal shelves for a plant potentially. He just needs his teammates to be able to hold BDS back. Out goes the EMP, and he's going to start moving soon.
Love that as well, disabling any jammers that might be inside of blue here before the call comes on through, but Mies has been caught out. Tim, all they've got to do is cover connector here while this plant goes down, and sure enough, there's a bit of cover here. One coming in from blue, but if the connector one comes on through, they're in trouble. Double C4 toss. Oh, you are not getting away with that one. Gotti has already pulled off a magical play once, but he won't get the chance again. Shut down by Brede, and well played by the last two surviving members of BDS to close out round one.
Yeah, that was really tough. I think Misa maybe takes a swing into blue a little bit too soon there. Doesn't maybe quite need to. And for me, Thatcher's not the one to be planting there. You got to recognise that this C4's left on the side of BDS, so they don't have to swing you in that position. For me, you need somebody else planting there so that the Thatcher can be dumping EMPs in there to prevent those nitros being detonated.
Problem is they'd used two EMPs to get the main wall opened up on that third one, which I could agree with you here might have been a waste. They tossed it on towards blue.
And get it dumped in there. I get what they're doing, like you said, to take the jammers out so that the door could be called. But is the door could be called desperately helping them get on in? Because BDS, they're not gonna come away from the guns to stop the phone ringing. They don't really care at that point.
Misa's not going to hear it at that range either. Is the other piece to it. Yeah.
For me, I think keep a hold of that EMP. Recognise, and look, it's in hindsight. It's so easy to sit here and say this. I get that, but it could have been a difference maker when those. If don't get me wrong, still not easy. The timing would have had to be perfect. As those nitros come over, bang, in goes the EMP. You maybe secure the plant. Yes, it's going to take somebody away from watching cut. You know, there's all sorts of things that could happen. But it was a good effort from PSG Talon, 3 versus 2. But equally, BDS holding on, fantastic stuff. You know, just using what they had, the tools that were available to them, recognising where the plant was likely to go down and getting the job done. So 1-0 BDS. And I think what that shows us, Des, is what we were talking about coming into this. Chalet, much more of a BDS map. PSG, they may be able to do everything right and still lose rounds.
Exactly that. It comes down to it sometimes. We've seen many a team have that situation where it feels like you should be winning. We had that 1 versus 5 the other day, and 5v1s in those situations, Tim, you should never be losing. It shouldn't be a thing. You always play for the trades. But these things do have a habit of creeping up on you, and before you know it, you're in a 1 versus 1, losing out a round. It is horrific to then have to deal with. So things can happen. Just unfortunately, it's happening to PSG a bit more often than I'm sure they would like. BDS for now, keeping themselves pretty static. Haven't had to do much moving around because they're waiting for the attacks coming from PSG. They've got this library and office balcony side control, but now need to find their way into this top floor. Still got a lot of time to play with, mind you, and I imagine Soldier's going to be at the front of this attack on that Blackbeard, as he has been so many times throughout Lair. Let's get that top floor control first. Got to start pushing through and getting players forced backwards, and then they can worry about the site itself. Still a lot to do.
Switch on, continue. Ooh, going to get caught out by the mute jammer. Kind of one of the only direct counters, really, to the mute drone beyond shooting it.
Oh,
Took too long to locate that electrical, and that is going to leave that wall almost certainly up and electrified. And it's going to be difficult for them to deal with that one. They're aware of the swing on the office balcony, potentially. They're going to stray into that Gashmot mine, but will not be swung on the back of it. Ryder manages to find Solotov, who's having a torrid start to Chalet so far. 2 entry deaths in a row. BDS once again trying to hold on. Ryder with a second, takes down users. Misa onto Shaiko. They're starting to roll through the top floor. What? This could be flawless. They've taken a lot of damage. Ryder is down, but Brede, he's got so much work to do here. PSG need to think about the opportunity to get in and put this diffuser down.
Oh, so heartbreaking for Brede. Both players lining up, and I think a bit of target blindness for a second as both come into his view. Probably questioning his own eyes. Was that 2 players? Yeah, it was. Managing to find neither. Great round for Talon. I thought for a second they were getting a bit stalled out because the player on half wall really holding down well, dealing with drones, keeping the wall closed up. It was the Ella at close range too. Anyone who pushed in was going to be under a lot of threat from those gadgets. They managed to make it work, and BDS just get absolutely bowled over once the shots start flying. One apiece.
I think the reality is here as well that, you know, PSG are winning these rounds. They are coming in and they are making life super difficult for BDS. And, you know, we've spoken, you know, Fabian said it, he sees great play from them in scrims in, you know, other games, and we're starting to see it. They're starting to deliver it in the officials now, in the server, and this is great stuff. This is just so entertaining to see, you know, such a close matchup between these two at this point. Like I say, I still expect BDS to come out on top of the defense of Charlie. We will see over the next couple of rounds. This one's not going to be easy. Attacking onto Bar and Gaming. PSG Talon, last time they were able to focus pretty much directly onto site and massage those positions and able to find the kills from them. This time, they're going to have to move across top floor. They're going to have to take that very difficult library and mezzanine area away from BDS. They're going to dig their heels in and make that as difficult as possible.
A few British viewers may well resonate with this one, but if we look nothing more than a team with a British player on it, Tim, it's an underdog. And that's exactly what PSG find themselves as. It's already been pretty close to keeping things neck and neck here. It has only been the 2 rounds. We'll see how things carry on to build up. Just running around here on the Brava as he was back on Lair. Someone actually asked us yesterday, I think Shaiko was flawless at like 13-0, and then they put him on Brava in round 7. It was like, oh, is it because you want to give him a flawless map? I don't really think so. More because actually Bravo, with a pretty decent gun, can do a lot for the team. And once you've done your work on hacking away a bunch of gadgets, you're then free to go and be a fragger. And you can bring quite a bit of utility that helps with executes, things like the smokes being brought along, that just really helps set the team up. So you will see a lot of players like Shaiko, like Yas playing it, and sure enough, there is that Bravo stepping up to the plate and bringing down Shaiko.
Yep, that's going to be the Legion off the board. So Guman utility lost as well, of course, developing over time. So the earlier into the round that Legion dies, the greater the loss. And that is potentially going to be a problem. Solotov is still up on that mezzanine, just playing a little bit of a cheeky position here inside of the double window. Will be spotted out by multiple drones. Something else that is going well for PSG Talon at the minute. 7, now 6 drones remaining. BDS have had a little bit of a spell of getting rid of some, but with Leakyvac on the Solus, they're managing to keep a lot of drones on the board here at PSG Talon.
Probably very conscious of the fact that there's mute jammers and the Solus dancing around that you've got to deal with. And let's not forget, they've got those... You've got the Brava drones, you've got the Twitch drones. That's a lot they can bring along here. They know where the player is, and Ryder very narrowly missed a chance to kill this player early on, actually. Maybe ruining it a bit now. There's an extra 30 seconds have gone by. The player's still dug in. They're still having to commit drones to keep an eye on him at the same time. A little bit stalled out here, it feels, PSG Talon.
Yeah, the big problem is that they still don't have top floor. That's going to help, though. And Yas doubles down, managing to find Solotov. It's 5 versus 2, and BDS have crumbled in the round. They're going to have to hold on from sight now. 3-day users, cut down on the door. Man. Surely not. Back-to-back flawless rounds. That's what BDS are facing, Breedy. Yes. He has his say, but Yas is there for the trade. Takes him down, and PSG lead 2-1 on Chalet.
Yes, Queen, 4K, man's looking good. Across the 2 maps, you've seen it quite a lot from a few players. You like that one, didn't you? Ryder is going to be a player.
Everything that I'm seeing, it's just...
it's mental. And hearing. It's brilliant.
Ryder, so fun.
I've spoken about Ryder a little bit from the previous map and the unbelievable entry that he's had so far. It's carrying on here. Again, Fabian was speaking about Misa being a really good gunner, best on the team when he's on his day. Yas is stepping up to the plate, you're seeing Ryder have a great game. Like, it's just looking good. We've even seen Gotti getting involved, and Soldier, you'll forgive him a little bit. He's on the Blackbeard. Yeah, it's got a gun, but it's still a shield at the end of the day. It's still the first line of entry for his team that will find himself getting traded out or potentially put down early from a side swipe, whatever it might be. But the whole team is playing a part, and that is the most important thing. It's not just one player playing well, Tim. All 3 so far, and argue all 5. Having a big contribution to the outcomes of the first 3 rounds.
It just feels like PSG Talon are starting to believe in themselves.
So they should.
It feels like, if you think about the beginning of Lair, when they were tentative and they were slow and they weren't getting aggressive up into BDS's faces, they were giving them time to think. And BDS went 5-1. They, you know, had a great start to Lair. But now, PSG Talon aren't playing like that at all. They're quite happy to go into these gunfights, and look at that though, Solotov, he doesn't miss this time, absolutely slams Ryder with the Boss G headshot, beautiful stuff.
We saw G2 having a little bit of fun with that Boss G a couple of days ago after, actually it was yesterday when they felt themselves, well, it's a bit easy. Let's run on with the Boss G. Solotov, I think, still taking this very seriously, but has now got that weapon out himself and has found Ryder, again, the player that was heaping a lot of praise on. Misa's gone down 2 on the Dokkaebi with that single phone call coming out. This is looking rough.
I think the Vigil's a great shout from BDS because you want to create problems for PSG Talon. You want to slow them down. What was I saying?
Slippy.
what was I saying? Through the first bit of Lair, where there was particular success, PSG Talon were playing slowly, they were playing tentatively. Cause situations that's going to make them play like that. Give them somebody to search for that they can't find. Make it difficult. Yes, Solotov hitting absolute beauty of a headshot is always going to help. Doesn't find his man there. Yas does take some damage, but he's just proving to be a complete nuisance for the first minute 15. And PSG Talon now are on the back foot. They've got 2.5 players essentially when we look at the HP. The damage is done, and BDS can now sit back to side. Leakafac, however, up on the second floor, hiding himself away a little bit potentially. PSG Talon, a man down, 2 men down, might actually struggle to deal with him up here.
He might. It's almost the reverse of what we spoke about back on Lair. And for PSG, they were the ones offering the threat from above that BDS couldn't really clear out. And anytime BDS tried to undo the same to PSG, well, there's always someone ratting around causing a little bit of bother. I placed there making sure the big car garage is cleared out. Indeed it is, so no worries about that. Of course, they don't strictly know that themselves. That barricade might suggest there could be someone in there, but given the side of the door the barricade's on, it suggested they barricaded that up and gone back in towards site. Now getting themselves inside a trench, things are being opened up, but the C4 comes over. Not quite finding Gotti, but he is down to about 40 HP here, Tim. A swing onto this breach, and he's done. There we go.
Yeah, knew that there would be one play in Pillar. Users just taking the crouch as he comes around the corner. Manages to find the man with the SMG.
I think Shaiko's been teaching him, you know, about this whole crouch, step out, swing, lean, back in again. It's horrible.
It's so horrible to fight against. Soldier manages to pick up Breeder, 2 versus 4, 2 versus 3 as he takes Shaiko. Shaiko is just unlucky there, gets caught in the crossfire. He's just wandering around like, yeah, I'm just checking outside. Bosh, he's dead. We've all been there. He was shooting at you and he's killed me.
Soldier's got another. They haven't got diffuser though. I mean, it's down to a 2 versus 2.
20
it's down
seconds,
the scary
it's
part.
still doable.
The time is the problem. There's also a shotgun right next to the door here as well. They've gone round for it. Can they guarantee a trade? No, they cannot.
Well played, Users.
Users putting both in the ground there as well, and BDS bringing things back up to 2 apiece.
Yeah, Users had a great round there. 3 kills, I think, at least in the round. I'm not sure if he got one of the first 2.
I'll check in a minute.
Solotov got the first. There's one missing in the middle that I can't remember the second kill. But Users, he swings out from Pillar, gets it with the SMG. He then flips to the shotgun. He's using his entire arsenal to his advantage. I'm going to get close to the door. I'm going to shorten that engagement, and I'm going to make life
If he got a
difficult
collab there, that would have been horrific.
Yeah, it really would. Yeah, Shaco's so much. We've all been there where it's just like, he was shooting at you and he hit me.
That is now the 2nd or 3rd time that I've seen PSG Talon being, shot at on the entry to the building. In terms of getting up against the building to start their droning phase.
Yep.
They've got to be careful of that. BDS really are trying to trip them up, and it just shows maybe that little bit of lack of preparedness. The fact that BDS do play this map a lot more, and PSG Talon frankly don't, because they are getting caught out by the situations. Yeah, back in round 1, they spun it around, and Misa managed to get the kill onto Solotov, who really should have found his man. But a little bit of caution in the early round will go a long way to not losing these crucial ops too early on.
I think, again, BDS leaning into, what I was saying there about slowing things down. Let's slow things down. They've got the electrification, they've got the Tubarão, they've got the FNATs of Fenrir, they've got the goo mines of Legion. Let's just make it difficult. We've got the mute to prevent the drones getting in. Just make it as difficult as possible for PSG Talon. Give them as many problems to solve as possible. Burn the time, make them rush. It might not be successful, but it certainly looks like what they're trying at the minute. We've got on the side of the attack a Ying. Obviously the attack is going to come in behind that, but it's Ryder that I'm watching particularly on the Amaru. Doesn't have the diffuser, so it's not going to be a case of zipping and try and get a plant under the cover of the Candelas. Soldier has the diffuser in hand on the Blackbeard, but where is Ryder going to go? What's going to be the play? Is the idea to use that Gara hook, or does he just want the guns? I don't know. We'll see as the round progresses.
You do see the Amaru come out and just think, oh, this must be spicy. And very rarely is it actually. It's just like you say for
just
the
want
gun.
the gun and he's wandering into basement. Maybe it won't be exciting, but
exactly. And sometimes it's a small window in front of you you break in through for a little bit of a speed entrance if nothing else. But it's very rarely the idyllic fantasy we all have of just flying in through a window, killing 3 players, getting the diffuser down and getting out again.
He wants to go up the hatch directly into sight. That's why he's in basement. This could be a very explosive play. He's going to wait underneath. I don't know what the goal point is going to be. I would imagine Candela's going in there. Could potentially be part of it. Oh, he's dipped away. I was so excited for a minute.
Again, we all get excited by it when you see the Amaru. You just hope it's going to be something spicy like that, but nothing quite too crazy coming out from Ryder. In fact, Tim is going up above.
Yep, he's going to look to assist in that top floor clearance by the look of things. Doesn't have the hard breach charges. He's got the flashers, so he can move across and potentially challenge into Piano here. He's going to need a little bit of support. Ryder manages to get one. Solotov with a Nitro onto Gotti, but how quickly do BDS react to losing top floor here? Ryder's moving across. They need to find the kill. He's going to take a lot of damage there. Solotov takes a little bit in return, but definitely winnable. The Blackbeard's chasing him down. However, Breeder users find one apiece. Nice 3v2, 2v2 as the kills keep coming. The Amaru finds Breeder. 55 seconds left to go, and this is still very winnable for PSG Talon.
No C4 in back pocket for Yuzu's side of Tim, and Soldier, of course, being on this Blackbeard looking very healthy is a real threat. I like how Solotov tried to come around the corner and go for the knife onto the Blackbeard, but unfortunately, I think Soldier's played this a few too many times. Backed off himself so he didn't get caught out by the knife and got a very easy kill. So if you think Solotov looks silly doing it, that's why.
Time's going to be the big problem here, because how do they get that diffuser down? Don't forget, when a player starts planting, they effectively lose somebody on the team. So that 2v2 becomes a 2v1. BDS can time that and try to go.
Nice.
But that's why he's on the Amaru. Brings the shotgun, takes users from above, and now they might just have an opportunity to do this. They're going to chase him down. But Leakifac, he's standing tall. But no, Soldier drops the face shield and finds the kill. PSG Talon get themselves another attack.
Such a key round for PSG Talon to win. Not only are they back in the lead, but look back at Lair, Tim, and arguably what cost them that map was losing 2v2s. It was losing 2v1s, giving too many situations over to BDS where they could come out on top. But this time round, they stick it and make it work after finding that excellent push through that top floor. BDS are behind, but Tim, I'll say the same thing I said back on Lair. There are two halves to a game of Siege. When things switch, and given this is an attacker-leaning map, BDS could start to run away with things. So although it's really great to feel excited for PSG, I'm also slightly nervous about that second half for them.
Also worth noting, at the point where they had that perfect yellow ping onto users underneath, they only had 2 drones left. PSG Talon are really maximising the utility that they've got there. They had 2 drones left, and one of them was in the right position to be able to offer that information on users' position to enable them to be able to get that. It was either that or cams had been stolen. I need to double check if they had Dokkaebi on the last round or not, but ultimately, just great use of intel. They did have Dokkaebi consistently. It may be that the cams were stolen. I think there was a bulletproof on the wall opposite users. But again, if that's the case, it's a bit of a mistake from BDS. You should know that that cam has been hacked and have dealt with it, because it's been a crucial part if that was the case. So PSG Talon, one way or another, playing the intel game and the utility game really, really well.
He didn't see that drone on West Main door that got the yellow ping down, and I just knew then. I was like, he hasn't seen the drone, he hasn't shot it. They're absolutely dead to rights. Let's see how this last round goes. A 4-2 half would feel fantastic for PSG. Again, coming back to it, this isn't one of the maps that they normally go to. At least their success rate on it so far has not been phenomenal, is hard look at it. They play it quite a lot. They ban it away even more. 7-2 in terms of ban record over the last 6 months, and they lost it to Raza Company just a couple of days ago. Well, 3 days ago now, if you look back at it. It all feels like it melds into one after a while, Tim. But it's not been their most successful map. But at least here, they're looking like a team that are very comfortable on it, to be honest. Maybe some good prep work by the backroom staff.
Yeah, that certainly seems so. Solotov's going to be holding his position inside of game for the time being. Something that they need to be aware of course, the player underneath could be a problem for PSG Talon. They're going to be attacking across the top floor. Yas manages to find Shaco. That's another entry going in favour of PSG Talon. And once again, BDS find themselves fighting at man disadvantage. It's like they can't miss at the minute. Des Ryder swings onto Leakifac. He had the shots into his side, but Ryder was able to respond on the Lion and puts it to 5 versus 3 in favour of PSG Talon. And right now, BDS, they just feel like the spirit is a little bit broken, Des.
Ryder is having a game, man. Like, I don't know, like, his entry's the best by a clear mile. He's got the most kills in the lobby as well. He's made it a second in the round. I don't know what happened to him overnight, but he has transformed. Not that he's been always terrible throughout this tournament, for example, but I'd say at least today he's looking like a different beast. 2 against 5. We've seen these situations lost, but I don't think PSG, with a whole 60 seconds still to play and a shield on side, as well as that phone call coming out, are going to let this one slip away. One left standing, and he cannot do anything, Tim. They're coming out the walls. A flawless round for PSG. It's a 4-2 half, and what a commanding position to be in Now that we switch over to BDS on the attack.
I think Fabian's going to be very, very happy with what he's seeing out of his team at the minute. Of course, being in the lead, but the manner in which they're doing it. Like I said, BDS just seem to be on the back foot here. They can't win half of the gunfights. You know, they're having a little bit of an advantage, but PSG just seem to be able to hit those shots a little bit faster, be a little bit more deadly. And right now, they are in, I won't call it a commanding lead, but they have a reasonable lead coming into that second half. 4-2, and they move on to the defense. BDS, they need to get things going in this first round. They don't want to slip to 5-2 down.
I wonder if PSG Talon are just Leakerfat's kryptonite, because it's
I don't know.
It's very unlike him to be having such a poor performance overall. I think he's like 11 and 15 on KDs, 1 and 4 on entry. Him and Shaiko are both sub 50% on cost as well. Like, they're not having a good series. And again, I don't know if it's because it's the last day and they feel comfortable and they're not maybe underestimating PSG a bit, but they have not really been able to find their groove. Sure, Shaiko had a pretty good Lair over on the Deimos. Now it's been taken away. We'll have to go back to ye old faithful on the Flores, which again feels like an interesting or strange operator to put him onto.
To the Finker.
But Flores has been one of his things for the longest time. And during the Finker meta, yeah, he played quite a lot of that as well, Tim. Yep. The thing is, this guy's map pool can be absolutely crazy. Operator pool at the best of times can be absolutely crazy. I think it was he played, I forget which event it was, but they did a whole segment on it where he played like 16 operators, unique ones, and it was still, like, that is crazy.
Yeah, still
and
absolutely
still
slays. Yeah, it's unreal really. Yeah, there's nothing you can do to really target ban Shaiko, is the reality. So, let's get into it. BDS are on the attack, working immediately to clear out those castles. Will be Leakerfac on the Ash. That's just going to prevent movement around West Main, being too free for the defenders. And then it looks like a little bit of attention towards Solar. We've got the Claymores out there to prevent any runouts, so that tells us that they're going to be playing on the windows and looking to pressure from that side. Already Misa might be in a difficult spot here as Leakerfac is going to open up that castle barricade. You got to be careful. Once they're on that double window, Users will take that kill for free all day long. Nice angle through the site, picks up Misa, and that clears out Solar side.
Just a little bit of composure, I think, as well. Like, if you're playing this map a ton, that's the kind of angle that you know you can be exposed to. That double window is so oppressive. It's why teams always have someone on that rappel. With a dance around one of the drones there, but that double window, as I said, could get so many angles on this top 4 if you're not careful. And I think there's a little bit of a slip by Misa, not realizing he was exposed to it. And again, the lack of playing this map as much as, say, BDS means that they paid the price there and lost one they didn't really need to be losing.
Yeah, it's really tough once you've got somebody on that double window. Playing inside of this site can be an absolute nightmare. Soldier's doing well here with his positioning. He's not really overexposing himself, but he is opening up the verticals to the information that's being given to him. But BDS are looking pretty good right now. They've softened up a lot of site. They've got that opening kill. It's now just about 1 minute 10. What are we doing next? How are we going in? Where are we going in? We need to start getting a presence inside of the map now. That's the next step for BDS.
All right idea, but they've got to get, they so sorely need something onto BDS here. A bit of damage going down, but the heal coming straight back in for the Finker. Here comes the push as well. Ho-ho! And knock the shield out of the way. There's a bit of team play here. An instant swing from Soldier, and down goes Shaiko. One more on backstairs. Makes it another. It looks like PSG Talon could be on for a 5-2 lead, Tim.
Somehow PSG Talon have held off the push from the Solar side. The Blackbeard coming in aggressively on the door with the Finker boost. It wasn't enough for them. It wasn't enough for BDS to take the ground that they needed. And right now, 4 versus 2. Soldier is down. So this is still winnable for BDS. 2 versus 3 effectively right now. 24 seconds left to go. Brede does manage to take down Soldier, but Ryder in the mix there took down Leakerfac. So it's all up to Brede on the Grim. 1 versus 3. 13 seconds. PSG, they know they can be hands off at this point. They don't need to move. They just hold their positions and swing. Wait for Brede to move in. There you go. I'm thinking, please, don't swing. But they do. It doesn't matter. They're there for the trade. There's a world where he gets both of them there, so they need to be careful. But BDS, I would expect a tack timeout.
I think, indeed, we will. We'll see if we can listen. I know we don't have microphones. We'll try and listen in for this one and see if we can hear anything. Bit too quiet, I think, to really get anything away from that one, I'm afraid. But the key thing for me there, and what I really like from PSG Talon, I said about the early death, you know, being caught out by a very known angle, a very known part of this map. the fact that in the 4 versus 2, they double up and play these 2v1s on both players. They get a bit blindsided by the Solar player coming up Solar Stairs and the Legion goes down, sure. But they had Leakifat pinned. He was getting nowhere out on that balcony, which left the other 2 players to sit and wait. But the most impressive part for me, Tim, was that little bit of team play onto the Blackbeard. PSG Talon, they play a lot of Blackbeard. Soldier, that's his go-to operator. So for him to instantly melee the Blackbeard, as soon as he comes through the door, and Gotti at long range instantly shoots at the Blackbeard, it's a beautiful bit of team play. And then Soldier, of course, steps on, gets 2 more kills, and that basically wins the round for PSG Talon. A good little bit of team play, and those are the moments that will win you this game when you're playing as a team, not as an individual.
I feel like PSG Talon are maybe playing the game rather than the team now as well, which is where you always want to be. You never want to load in and think, we're playing BDS, we're playing against Shy. You know, it doesn't matter. You're playing against player 1, player 2, player 3, player 4, player 5. You're playing the game, not the team. You go in there with your prep, you know what to expect, you do the job, and you do it to the best of your ability. And right now, it seems like PSG Talon are just in that sort of state of mind. Ryder's having an absolute life game at the minute. He's really going off. Soldier doing an unreal job as well. They're all having their moments across Lair, here on Chalet, and you know, the performance that they're giving us is impressive, and it's beaten BDS down. You can see that, you know, BDS are a little bit rattled here.
It says a lot when Shaiko and Leakifat are the 2 worst rated players in the lobby right now.
Ryder's 25 and 14.
It's more as a team, they're +6 on entry overall. They are battering BDS in the entry. And it's not common you get to do that against BDS. They're a very strong entry team, pushing up towards 60% alongside a few other teams here at the tournament. But they are being bullied by PSG Talon here on Chalet. And we came into this map, Tim, saying surely PSG Talon can't do this.
Leakifat's got in really quickly here. I like this. He's on the Maverick at the rear side.
He can't kill anyone, Tim. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
He's
got 11 kills.
He's holding an angle here, and he might just catch somebody out as they're rotating around site, because at this point, you wouldn't expect necessarily for it to be monitored like that. So PSG Talon, if they keep it tight inside of site, then they should be okay. But this is quick progress from BDS. Straight in, opening wine wall. There is a presence up above them, though, so they need to be aware of that dining hatch. They're just going to get caught out with the tubber open now, but the auto canister will wear off and wine wall will be open. So good quick progress from BDS. The question is, will Soldier hurt them on the hatch?
The blessing more than anything is it gives time, this tuber out, for PSG Talon to reallocate resource, move players around. There's 1 player playing on the hatch, but there's also a second sat above him waiting for BDS to come and try and take this. So by all means, come and get it. They'll just retake it straight back off you.
Just looking, it's Shaiko currently still on the outside.
Ryder
Solotov
again,
is going to be taken down. Ryder will not be moved. He will. He's going to be... Sorry, Ryder. He's going to be taken... He's going to be taken out from pillar there. Use us with a good kill. That is exactly what BDS needed. It gives them a little bit of space. It starts them moving, but Soldier is the problem. Shaiko is still outside of the map. He's the one that's upstairs, and he needs to be going in and clearing out dining, really, because while Soldier is there, it's a problem, but Yas is up on the 2nd floor. He's up above. He's holding things for him. This is going to be really tough for BDS to get in there and get a plant down potentially if they want to do so from Wine Wall. They need to be finding these kills.
It's all been very slow for the last, like, I'd say 75 seconds or so, but we're in and the plant is going down. Will they be able to get the vertical in time? I don't think they can stop it. Oh my God! Gotti is back up again. A 2K. It was a 4K on the last map that did all the work here. It's a 2K with a single C4 and PSG Talon. Tim, they've taken BDS to match point. What on earth is going on?
Well,
Jesus Christ.
It was the hatch that I was concerned about for BDS. They had a plan for that, and the diffuser was going down. I didn't see the double nitro coming, I'll be honest with you.
Neither did I, no. I thought they would get away with that one and they had it tucked in because they got rid of Ryder, sat on the main pillar position. But they just managed to hold on. It's 6-2. BDS are at a 4-round deficit, Tim. They cannot afford to make any more mistakes.
Who had this on their bingo card? I don't think it will be many, if I'm honest. PSG Talon, we thought we're going to have a much tougher time of it on Chalet. We expected BDS to come out here and really sort of put them to the sword a bit. You know, really put them in the dirt and move on with their full 4 points. Claim that top spot in the group. But right now, the story is all about PSG Talon. They beat BDS back in Manchester. It was a best of 1. They got it done. Right now, they're showing that wasn't a one-off theirs. That wasn't luck. It wasn't chance. They are winning here on merit. Great performance from them on Chalet. They are really on top of things. Some of their players right now are just popping off. It's the sort of performances where you think, just don't take your hands off the mouse and keyboard, guys. Don't do anything to spoil whatever it is that's going on right now.
It is looking terrifying for BDS. It's crazy how the narrative has flipped so strong, because as I was saying coming into the start of it, BDS have got a 6-1 record on this map, Tim. They don't lose Chalet.
Nope.
It's their backyard. PSG Talon got a 1-2 record on it. They ban it away a hell of a lot. They do not enjoy playing this map a whole lot. Yet here they are, about to hand it to BDS.
Just as a reminder, a 2-1 win here for PSG Talon might be enough. 3 points will take them above Falcons, so it leaves Falcons having to get something out of Raza Company. Right now, PSG Talon are getting nothing out of BDS. 2 kills come in, Solotov with the second, taking down Misa, and that is now a strong advantage for BDS. Are they able to lock in from here and get the round 1? The Blackbeard is bullying the KE.
Nice.
Jesus takes down Gotti. This has been a much better attack from BDS. This looks clinical. Shooting Leakafak over the shoulder of users. They are fighting each other for the kills at the minute. They know that the last one is up above. It is going to be tough for Yas from here. He's got the vertical, but that's all he's got. BDS need to think about just getting that diffuser down now. You've got the space, you've got the time, you know Yas is above. Think about putting it down on the ground.
Bit of information being passed around, hoping to find a freebie, and sure enough finds Shaiko. 3 and 9, he goes, ouch. Well, that diffuser's going down here, and there's nothing that can be done to stop it. I thought a closing kill might come through, but Leakafak, he's desperate to get some kills on the board, Tim. That's a screenshot. I'm sure the R6 Esports account is looking at that. Leakafak and Shaiko, 3, 9, and 1. That never happens. It is crazy. They are going to get the round over the line, Tim, but they've still got to find 3 more.
That's it. This is just one step in a journey here on Chalet, and it's going to be a tough journey, a tough path for BDS to walk to get themselves back into this. Solotov manages to find Yas. They just need to get those players activated. I don't blame, I totally agree. Leakafak going in there, trying to win that fight with Yas. Just, trying to light a fire under them and just try and get them firing up, get himself going, get some kills. It's all about just rebuilding that little bit of confidence here that they can get it done, that they can run it back. I'm certain BDS will believe in themselves, but with the way PSG have defended so far, you got to say, finding 1 round Des is more than possible for them.
It'll be heartbreaking for them if they let BDS all the way back into this, because they've played, there's not that round just then, but the prior 2, they played it super well to get up to 6 and 2. They've given themselves all the room in the world to make this one happen, get it over the line. Believe they've still got that attack timeout to lean on if Fabian feels things are going south again. I imagine after this round, if they do lose it, that's when he'll step in and try and help them get just something over the line to send us through to Labs. I've got no idea what's going to happen on Labs, because for both teams, it's quite an unpopular map. They don't play it a whole ton. Not tons of success being shown on it either. Anything could happen.
Round 10 will be coming up. PSG Talon just need 1 more. Don't adjust your screens or whatever else you're watching this on. You are seeing it right. 6-3, PSG Talon lead on Chalet right now. They have, I think it's fair to say, had the command of things. They have certainly been on top. BDS already secured into that upper bracket. They're looking for the top spot, of course. They want that bye. It does mean something for them to win this game, to guarantee themselves that they move on in the best possible way to the upper bracket. But PSG Talon, they are fighting for their very lives in the tournament, and you can never count a team out when that is the situation that they face. Drone will be spotted and taken out inside of sight. Jaiko losing 1, but does have another. Leakafak manages to take down Gotti, and maybe this is the platform. Maybe this is the start of the BDS comeback. We've talked about the entry days, about the way that PSG Talon have commanded those early round kills, but for the last couple, BDS have been able to find them. 5 versus 4.
Yeah, it's not great when you start losing out the mute as well. That C4 being taken offline at the same time. They've been pretty good, to be fair, at making sure the entries are the one involved in these fights, like Gotti. Until now, Tim had not been involved in an entry kill or death on this map at all. He just wasn't involved in the conversation. Rightly so, it's not really his role, but it's a good start in the 5 versus 4 with loads of time still to play and tons of utility to stack behind too. Now looking again towards that Dokkaebi. I mentioned the BDS. 3 of their players have Dokkaebi in their top 3 most played operators. They love playing Dokkaebi. Also paired up here with that Capitao, and of course the Blackbeard. Lots of tools to get this done.
I think, you know, the PSG Talon fans, the big concern they might have at the minute is the confidence of their team. We've questioned that confidence at times coming in, maybe not aggressive, maybe not strong enough. They have been playing with bags full of confidence over the last half of this game at least, but can BDS dent that? Can BDS remind them who they are playing against? I said that PSG Talon had found a spot where they were playing the game rather than the team, but it won't take much necessarily for BDS to come in, slap them about in a couple of rounds and say, you're still playing with one of the top teams in the world, and if PSG Talon realise that and let it get in their heads, it might start impacting them. The last couple of rounds have been pretty straightforward for BDS.
Oh, there's no timeout coming in here. I thought this was where Fabian might step in. It's a bit late when you're in the next round. You've got one more to go. Kind of surprised by the site choice as well, to be honest with you, Tim. We saw PSG Talon win in the first 2 rounds of the half in Master and Office, and then down in the basement in Wine Cellar and Snowmobile. Across those last 2 rounds, we've gone to both of the first floor sites. We've lost them both. Now we get to go up to the top floor or basement, and they choose to go up to the top floor, where they started out this half in strong fashion, even though they lost the entry in that round. I imagine we start here. If we lose here, Tim, we go down to the basement, but like I said, by then it could be a little bit too late.
Yes, it could be. We'll see how it plays out. Last time around, BDS tried to push in through Solar here. They got numbers in there. There was 3 pushing in through Solar, including a Blackbeard onto the door. Got an important kill onto the Blackbeard that allowed Soldier to remain in position. He then stepped out into Solar and really broke the attack down. So it could have gone either way in reality. I think if BDS pick up that first kill onto Soldier last time they attacked here, then maybe it would have been slightly different. But let's see how it plays out this time. Do BDS bring in a similar attack, or do they try to work in through Library on Piano Window and go for a more default push?
Really think a lot of it gets set up by the entry, mind you. The majority of the rounds across the whole series have been defined by who gets that entry kill. Unsurprisingly, when you're in a 5 versus 4 team, you do often go on to win the round. Really
there's only 2 rounds that have gone against it.
Yep, and this is the thing, over the last 4 rounds, while BDS have found 3 of those entries, Likafak somewhat waking up as well. We touched on when both he and Shaiko were 3-9-1. Shaiko sadly is carrying on with the misfortune, but Likafak's found 3 kills for himself without dying. 2 of those, I believe, coming in that last round, so it's not, in fact, no, it was all 3 in the last round. He got a 3K in that round. The one prior to that, he found the entry, so things are looking better for him, and for BDS, 2 more to go.
Yeah, I mean, the days of BDS being so reliant on a Shaiko go kill, I think long gone at this point. You know, Shaiko does a lot of other work for the team in terms of utility, in terms of bringing things like the Rotero drones and, you know, doing things like that. So it's certainly not going to be the be-all and end-all for him. Flash goes in. That's going to be an easy challenge for Likafak. Gets that important entry. As we said, these entries are being regularly converted. It allows him to steal the cameras as well, being on the Doka bit. BDS, they just look like they've woken up, Des. They look like they've found themselves again, and they are in the server fighting.
I mean, you're asking questions here. Why is Gotti playing out there as well? You know there's going to be a Dokkaebi on side. The Deimos might be banned, but they will still hunt you down. This is what top teams do, Tim. They'll punish you with 2 or 3 players. It only required 1, but really without wasting much time, they've got themselves into a 5 versus 4.
Yeah, it feels like BDS are they're less in their own heads at the minute. PSG Talon aren't getting away with the things that they have been getting away with. They're now being punished, and that's what BDS need to be doing. Lock in, laser focus, punish those mistakes, punish those odd placements. If you see somebody out on their own, go and pinch them, go and get the kill, and BDS right now are doing that much better. They're not losing those gunfights. Friday is going to start getting the wall open as well. Things are going to start getting difficult for Yas in this position. Nitro comes out. He just needs to wait for the right moment to let this go.
Lets it go. Now he'll find him.
He would.
There's 2.
Shaiko, if I'm not mistaken, on the Flores that's peeking that. He waits for the utility, but no, it captures the wall. The breach wasn't big enough for him to find it.
Does he surely he's dead on the pullback here? No, and he is being tagged out with where he's currently laid down, but for now stays alive, and Soldier gets one back. 4v4. BDS have got 20 seconds, Tim. The clock is not their friend.
That's it. This is going to be the big problem now. PSG Talon can kind of hold their angles and wait for the push to come. They just need to win the gunfights, but that is a big just when you're playing against a team like BDS. They need to peek around this corner. Brede in behind half wall, getting the diffuser down. Can Misa make a move? No, he can't. Likafak takes him down. Great cover from BDS. Great plant. Ryder, he starts the fight back. He starts the retake. 3 versus 3 as he finds the headshot. shot onto Pride, but Yas is down, and it is all stacked against PSG Talon right now. The clock is ticking down. They managed to pick Yas up, but 3 versus 3 with about 21 seconds left. This is a big ask, and it is not looking likely. Leakerfact just one after another. That is 4. Can he get his 5th? No, he cannot. Solotov closes out the round, and BDS, they suddenly look like the team we've seen over the last couple of days, Des. They are here, and they are ready to fight for Charlie.
Attack timeout understandably coming in. We'll see if we can hear Fabian. He's quite loud at the best of times. See what he says. No, he's
Not today, Des.
Not today. I'll tell you what, Leakerfact really must have heard us, Tim, because he is
Leakerfact has activated. Like I said, him taking that fight, I know he lost the fight up on the top floor. I think it was against Yas when they were in the 4v1, but I completely understood why he was doing it. With numbers, get up there, try and win a fight, a little boost or a little confidence boost there, and get yourself back into it. Win or lose that fight, he has activated since then, and he's going wild at the minute.
3 entries in a row, 7 kills across the last 2 rounds. He has propelled himself to the top of the leaderboard for his team, and he's only now 2 kills behind Ryder, who's had a brilliant map as well. This goes to show how fast things can turn, and hopefully whatever Fabian is offering up to his team here is enough to get this over the line, because my God, they've done all the hard work. They were at 6-2. They took Lair right to the wire. It would be such a shame to open the door back to BDS here and let them in. We are going to basement as I thought we might, Tim. It all gets decided here.
And do you know what? From Leakerfact's perspective, you know, this is super important as a captain, as an IGL, to be leading your team in that way. You need somebody who can step up into the breach and say, we are going to get this done. There is a problem here, but I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to lead by example. And Leakerfact has started doing that. So great stuff from BDS over the last couple of rounds. Like I say, really showing why they might be, in the long run, a tournament winning team, or certainly in for the contention. Because it's not about winning easy, it's about winning hard. And right now, they look like they are threatening to do just that. PSG Talon were 6-2 up as they have had so many opportunities to close this out. But BDS have said nope. They've dug their heels in, they've pushed back off the wall that their back was up against, and they are fighting back. I would not be surprised to see a few more rounds of this one.
Ooh, right.
Where does the entry go? Where does the entry go, Des?
That's honestly going to be the big decider. As you mentioned earlier on, it's still true. Only 2 rounds have been lost, after a team has got the entry. So you get the entry, you've got a very good chance of coming out on top. And I've mentioned Ryder so many times, having so much success. Yas has been the same, collected a couple for himself on this map. It's all gone wrong in this half, only taking 1 of the 5 that we've had so far.
Yash just going to be holding his position up there towards Solar for the time being. We saw this last time from PSG Talon. They had 1 playing on the hatch. That's going to be Soldier again. Yash up on the top floor to try and support him through the verticals down towards Office. However, look ahead of you. There is a silhouette there. Somebody is coming in to chase Yash down. He's not going to get it all his own way this time. And Ryder is there to support, though. They've got the numbers here of PSG Talon, but they need to be cautious, because if BDS recognise that, they could choose to hit the side.
I'll tell you what, I've watched them try and kill so many drones and fail to do so, but that's big.
Shaiko trying to come over the top rope there.
That feels really uncharacteristic for Shaiko to not get that kill. He knew where the player was. He went chasing after him and has whiffed apparently every single shot. Why just take maybe 1 bullet?
Tries to give him the big elbow drop over the top, but it's caught with a drop kick on the way down. Misa taking him out of things. And remember, PSG Talon, if they get this, we go to map 3. It is as simple as that. They have the entry only twice, Des. In all the rounds we've had in the past 11, only twice has that entry kill been overturned. Will that ring true for PSG Talon now? They have the advantage that they need. The other impact that it has is it means BDS cannot commit as heavily to clearing out those top 4 players. They may be able to keep the hatch. They may be able to keep that vertical presence, and that means that BDS need to adapt. They can't plant wine anymore.
He hasn't got the right side with that Maverick as well. It's such a risk to step across.
It's all going wrong for them.
Look, like he's made a right arse up of this, Tim. I don't know what's going on. There we go. He's finally got it. I was going to say, had to go back across and get a little bit more. Has got away with it. Misa taken down now, finally. In chase through the map. Solotov having to get into the same spot. that has taken him down.
45 seconds left to go. We're in that position again, though, where those couple of small mistakes for BDS have cost them quite a lot of time, and it might well cost them the round and the map overall, because they're going to have to rush this a little bit. If anybody can do that, we know that it's BDS. They can go in, they can get those kills. It is something that they have in their wheelhouse, but they are seriously concerned about the two that are above that they haven't been able to deal with.
Need to get rid of that on blue as well. Great time for the Vulcan canister to pop to him, because this clock is basically going to be 0 by the time it expires. They're a bit stuck. They're going to have to go somewhere else to make this happen. And there's still one inside a kitchen. Blau the hat's ready and waiting. And Leakafat walks into the warm embrace of Yas. Plant is going down, but there's 4 alive. Can they hold on? No, they can't. PSG Talon, Tim. They're sending us to labs.
We are going all the way to map 3, Des, and PSG Talon dig deep in round 12 to take it in regulation. They've got 1 map off BDS. They need 1 more to keep their SI25 dream alive.
It'll be so heartbreaking if they get this done and then Falcons go on just to stomp their opponents later, and it doesn't mean anything. But for now, they've got a dream. They've got a hope.
They can only do what they can do, Des.
That's it.
The only thing that PSG Talon can do to control their own destiny is to get this win.
What a map. It looked like BDS might fight their way back in, but PSG Talon say no at the death and give them nothing. We'll go to a break, and when we come back, map 3 awaits. You don't want to miss this one.
Back it up. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Back it up. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Back to the back to the back to the back to the back. Take it back, take it back. Back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up. Back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up. Take it back, take it back. Back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Back it up, back it up. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Let me take it back to the realness, feel this. Back to the back to the back to the back to the back.
You want to know a secret? In Boston, the world will learn what secret have been hiding.
Wait for this to unfold. It's all falling apart here. A 5 versus 3 goes awry.
Because they know what's going on. They can smell what they're cooking, and Doom starts off with a real big serving of 2 kills.
He's tearing them a new one. There's 1 left standing, and Doom, he's had a great game so far. Another off towards the left, but they are giving him nothing. It's 1 man left. Vendetta's out, sees his man, can't quite find him. Doom has pulled out a 1v3.
For 4 years, Talon sat in the shadows, watching D+ and FearX go to event after event after event. Now it's time to do this properly.
PSG Talon, they're dropping all over the shop. Gotti, once again, all that's left, 10 seconds. He's got the both.
Seems too easy now for him. Creeps up slowly. Code it.
30 seconds left to go.
He knows as well, he gets, oh my god, he's got the close one. The last one, inside of way! What on earth?
What becomes of a team that loses everything? To come as close as possible, but to let it slip through their fingers.
Clash tucked in the back corner, gonna get pressured on here maybe as well. But look at that, he's turned around and found one. He's got behind the Clash.
He knows exactly where he is. He can just pre-fire around.
Oh!
And he misses his shot.
The plant is going down. They must have another one ready. KDS, though, he praised him as the highest rated player. And Handy's got to do the lot. Diffuser did not get stuck, but he's found one. Can he do it in the 1 versus 1? And Nate over the top knows where his ban is.
In stage 1, this team was given an impossible task. In 3 months, build a roster and compete with the best in the world. Want to know how that ended?
Bonus getting it down. The punch. Gavin through the wall. From zeros to heroes. And now to a grand final. KDS forcing that plant down. It's up to Huttencold looking away at the run.
Same spot, 3v2, 10 seconds left. Lagona's holding diffuser, but it's Gavin. Dance, Gavin, dance! He's won all 3 rounds!
Everything we knew! They are your Manchester Major Champions!
Hands meet series. Because that's exactly where this has got to, Tim. We all came in thinking, this will be a 2-0. BDS are too good. PSG Talon, they've not run it to warm up in time. It's over. The dream is dead. And then they do this. Take the Lair all the way to 8-7. I don't want to say win comfortably on that last map. It was a bit of a scary moment, but they were in control for the vast majority of it. And now, Tim, Labs, it's all that's left between these two teams. If PSG Talon get the win, well, they get 3 points and they jump over Falcons in their group, which then means all eyes turn to that next game. If Falcons take nothing from it, PSG Talon make it into phase 2. Something no one would have believed could happen a couple of days ago.
Look, BDS just, they left it a little bit too late on Chalet is the reality. Yes, they turned it on. They showed why they are such a good team. They got those 3 rounds in a row and they got them convincingly. We really thought for a moment there that it was probably going to be over, that we'd go to overtime and BDS would win it out. But then PSG Talon, out of the depths, managed to dig deep, managed to get it done. And they take us to, I think it's fair to say, a very unlikely map 3 on Labs. And I don't know. This is what we come to SI for. This is what we come to SI for. This is the enjoyment of the group stages, is the unlikely stories, is the surprise runs, is the dream performances, it's the story, it's the emotion in the game. How much this means to Fabian and the rest of PSG Talon, not just the players, but as an org as well. It's really the culmination of a lot of hard work up to this point to be in a position to challenge games like this. And it means a lot. And of course, for BDS on the other side of things, they are fighting, make no mistake, to be the top team in the world. They want to be lifting those big trophies one after another. And it's these games that they're going to have to win, as well as all the others, in order to do it.
Like I mentioned that last map as well, Leak Effect was down with Shaiko at 3-9. Shaiko not managing to get a kill. Leak Effect did channel a lot of that energy, that potential that he's got, just didn't quite deliver at the very last moment when it was needed. However, he did show that there is still some fuel in the tank here, and hopefully on map 3, Tim, we see him starting to shine.
Whew. Let's get on into it very, very soon. We've got everybody in the lobby. Everybody's ready to go. The question is, honestly, what's going to happen on Labs? none of us really have too much of an idea. It's not a popular map for either of these teams. You've got, of course, the mental aspects of the game really playing big factors in here now to say, you know, is BDS going to be affected by what's gone on by going to map 3? Can PSG keep going with the confidence they've got? Can they keep it rolling? Are they going to get rattled if they lose a couple of rounds and it's a map that they're not too keen on? You know, what's going to happen is a huge question mark. It feels like we're back to that best of one in Manchester where anything can happen, and we all remember what happened on that day.
So many stories through Siege, which is what really make it, I think, and this is another story being rolled and created in its own right. It'll be heartbreaking to see it all come crashing down here at the last second. For BDS, let's not forget too, there's still something in this game for them. How points are stacking up, they need this win to be able to sit comfortably in that first spot. Not a guarantee. BDS, so Dark Zero can't catch them. Raza Company still could if they have a good outcome. BDS lose this and Raza Company beat Falcons. That's probably a good day for everyone, to be fair, Tim, because BDS fall down into second and third place and PSG Talon will be in. Still so much to be decided in this group. And like I said, it's great to be in a group stage at SI where everything still matters on the last day.
Look, what I love about it as well is exactly that. If PSG Talon get the win here, then yeah, it comes down to Falcons. But then we get another match like this where it's then Falcons trying to get their way through. You know, it's the excitement of group phases, and it's why I love it so much, especially when we get into day 4, day 5. It is such every game means so much, and like I say, by contrast, BDS, it's trying to get that top spot.
And we're casting CAG versus Team Secret later as well. A straight shootout.
A straight shootout.
Well, Secret have got to win 2-0.
Have a slight advantage. If they get one map, then they're okay.
Fine. Yeah. Although I'm sure Shopify Rebellion are looking at that and baying that Team Secret come out today shooting with guns up, because if CAG win that series comfortably, then Shopify Rebellion fall down to 4th. They start in a lower bracket. They don't get that extra life for SI. And this is a team that a few people have put forward and said they're likely favourites to win.
Close as well.
It has been crazy tight. I mean, their round difference. They've got a positive round difference as well.
That's it. For Shopify Rebellion, so many of their maps have been really, really close as of their games. You know, those losses haven't, apart from, you know, yesterday, they've not necessarily been like really big losses. So yeah, it could be a tough one, like you say, if they drop down to that lower bracket and then they lose that extra life. It's only going to be by fine margins.
Well, Labs, as we said, is our final map. BDS start on the attack here, PSG Talon on the defence. I don't think we've cast Labs yet here at SI, have we? I mean, Skyscraper after this is the only map we haven't yet cast, which is always nice. We've done most inside the first week. Labs is one of my favourite maps, as is Skyscraper, to be fair, but I really enjoy casting Labs. I think it's a really good flowing map. Lots of possibilities, lots of exciting moments on it as well. Take a look back to the SI Grand Final last year. It's where everything was decided. All got turned on its head on that final map of Labs. Quite a storied map as far as SI goes. A couple of lobby issues sorted out, and then we'll get ourselves underway. A small rearranging around, and then we're good to go. And I've just heard Tim. Spoilers in case you don't want to hear the outcome, by the way, so mute the stream now, whatever else it is that you want to do. M80 have just won over on the age stream. Now, that game in that group wasn't so much for fighting into, say, first place. G2 already had that spot, but it was kind of battling for contention for second or third. Because if you finish second and third, both of you get to go into the upper bracket as a start, but second place gets to pick a third place team from another group to who you face off against. If you're third, well, people are going to be picking you. And my God, does it feel bad to get picked last in PE? Wait till you're the first one to get picked here.
Well, that's going to leave Team Liquid down in that lower bracket as well. You know, and we look at that situation, and
it's crazy, isn't it?
Coming in, Liquid felt good. You know, they've had a good regional league. They really felt like they were, you know, starting to hit their stride with Maya settling in.
Actually, Unwanted can still jump over, I just realised, yeah. Unwanted can still make it over M80.
Yeah, Unwanted can make it over M80, but that's going to put Team Liquid into 4th now and down into that lower bracket. So, you know, a team that were coming in as maybe one of those dark horse teams, you start looking at and saying, is it going to be the same old for Team Liquid?
Yep, unfortunate for them. It's a real shame to look at, because there's always so much like promise that you see in that roster. They've got great players, and we know they're capable.
First player to 1,000 SI kills.
Exactly, and like Resets has had an unbelievable tournament. His entry record was like 18-2 or something stupid. He's had a brilliant like tournament so far. They just haven't got the results to back it up yet. Obviously haven't got it out today against M80 either, but they get no second chances this way when they go into the next phase. They lose and they are going to be out. Here's our schedule, just a sort of reminder in case you're wondering what games are coming up. That next one over here, Falcons versus Raza Company, is what will determine, assuming PSG win this game, whether or not they stay in for phase 2 or whether or not they go home. Raza Company have got to take both maps away to stop Falcons having that advantage over PSG and jumping ahead. We're doing CAG versus Secret after that, and then you've got SI Grand Final 24 as a replay, FaZe versus Furia. What a game that is to end groups on. What I love is it means every game has got weight today as well.
That's what
FaZe Fury might not mean anything standing-wise, but it means a lot in terms of history.
We've said it countless times. We'll say it countless more. Look, we don't care who wins or loses. You know, whether it's this game, any of the other games, we don't care who wins or loses. All we want is exciting games like the one that we're getting today. And if, you know, PSG are providing that, then, yeah, they're going to be, you know, it's great. If that's BDS providing that, that's great. We don't really care who it is. But what we do want is those close matchups. We do want those games that mean everything, that put everything on the line, because that's what SI is about.
We've got a few tech issues to work through. We'll go to a short break. When we come back, game is ready. See you in a few.
Available now.
Logo depois que ele terminou, que ele parou de jogar tênis, ele começou a jogar muito videogame. A gente brigava muito, mas ele insistia em jogar e tal. Até que um dia ele chegou e falou pra mim: pai, hoje eu sei que você não gosta, mas hoje eu tô entre os 3 mil melhores jogadores do mundo de Rainbow Six. Aí a partir daquele momento eu parei de me incomodar tanto. Mas um dia ele chegou pra mim e falou que ele queria virar jogador profissional de videogame. E aí eu falei pra ele não, que ele não podia ser profissional de videogame porque a gente não sabe onde que vai dar isso.
Meu nome é Juan Fernando e eu estou falando de São Paulo, capital. Meu pai, ele é jogador de xadrez e eu acabei seguindo um pouquinho do jogo. Eu gostava muito de ficar pensando e eu achava muito interessante o xadrez por causa disso. Mas ele conheceu o tênis e foi aí que também ele acreditou em mim e que investiu em mim para que eu seguisse a carreira como jogador de tênis. Quando eu comecei na carreira, eu jogava por diversão. Ao passar do tempo que eu comecei a jogar a federação, não se tornou só um jogo mais por diversão, mas para mim se tornou também um jogo competitivo. Nossa, eu lembro que eu treinava de cerca de 3 a 4 horas todo dia. Fui vice-campeão 2 vezes de campeonatos da federação. Sempre tinha o treino depois que a gente treinava com as raquetes e tudo mais. Quando eu tava fazendo a parte de academia, que é no pós-treino, eu tava fazendo bicicleta e quando eu tava pedalando muito rápido, acabou de que o banco caiu. Eu senti um leve estalo. O banco caiu, sabe? E foi lá. Eu senti a dor e perdi um pouco da vontade de jogar tênis. Desculpa. Eu fazia não só porque eu gostava, mas eu acabei sendo incentivado pelo meu pai.
Sempre foi assim um grande orgulho para mim ele jogar tênis. Então, quando ele se machucou, eu fiquei muito triste mesmo, porque eu sabia que ia dificultar muito. Ali seria o ponto final da carreira dele de tenista. Logo depois que ele terminou, que ele parou de jogar tênis, ele começou a jogar muito videogame. A gente brigava muito, mas ele insistia em jogar e tal. Até que um dia ele chegou e falou pra mim: pai, hoje eu sei que você não gosta, mas hoje eu tô entre os 3 mil melhores jogadores do mundo de Rainbow Six. Aí a partir daquele momento eu parei de me incomodar tanto. Mas um dia ele chegou pra mim e falou que ele queria virar jogador profissional de videogame. E aí eu falei pra ele não, que ele não podia ser profissional de videogame porque a gente não sabe onde que vai dar isso, se um dia ele vai precisar ter uma profissão, né? E hoje eu até me arrependo, porque eu devia ter apoiado o sonho dele, entendeu? Porque antigamente eu pensava muito nas carreiras profissionais, sabe? As pessoas têm que ganhar dinheiro para se sustentar. E eu não sei se é muito bem por esse lado o caminho da felicidade. Eu acho que o caminho da felicidade é você fazer o que gosta. E se ele gosta de fazer isso, meu papel como pai é apoiá-lo. Então, hoje, Juan, se você quiser virar um profissional de um jogador, eu vou te apoiar. Pode apostar nisso, tá bom? Eu não sei como é que se faz isso, mas se você quiser, eu vou estar...
Eu desejo tentar ser o primeiro que atravesse a porta do Invitational. Eu não vou dormir, provavelmente. Eu vou ficar pensando em que horário que eu vou. Eu só sei que eu tenho que pegar o metrô às 4h40 da manhã, um pouquinho mais cedo e vou. Não pensei que ia ter uma oportunidade como essa, principalmente no Brasil, né? Ver jogadores que...
Here we go. Labs is ready. Our technical issue has been resolved and we are about to get underway with the final map of this best of 3. Yes, you heard that right. PSG Talon have taken BDS all the way to the 3rd map. And Tim, that belief is building. A third of the audience believe that PSG Talon can get this done.
Steadily gone up, hasn't it?
Oh,
Steadily
boy.
gone up. BDS certainly looking beatable back on Chalet and then eventually lost it. After a good comeback, it was a good effort from them to try and get it over the line. The bans will be accurate because BDS on the blue side are on attack to begin with. So BDS have taken away Blackbeard and Clash. Monte and Fenrir will be the choices of PSG Talon.
Yeah, interesting bans as well. BDS changing out what they banned for the last 2 maps in the Blitz and instead going over towards the Blackbeard. I think identifying Soldier's actually been pretty problematic on that operator. Not as that look, he's been tearing the server up and going 1v5, but he's helped the team gain a lot of ground in a lot of situations, as well as showing he knows how to counter that operator when BDS are the ones playing it with that great little sidestep to the knife last time on Chalet. So it's going to be taken away here, which will enable that Blitz he brought along. Maybe it's because BDS want to run it themselves. We'll find out once we really get things underway. I think otherwise the ban's nothing too shocking. I think maybe the Clash you look at and say, okay, that's also a strange one. Cool. On this map, you do see Clash played from time to time across a couple of the sites, mainly up here on the top floor. And actually, BDS have played it themselves before. I can think back to 3-Day running around with it, Tim. So, some of a self-ban coming out, but also, of course, to try and keep it out of PSG's hands. They start on the defense. We start on the top floor. Let's get into it.
Top floor can be a tough one to defend sometimes because you don't really have, much freedom to use the map. You're kind of stuck on and around site. You can play a little bit underneath. They've got 4 nitros, so they might send somebody down there to play underneath. But like I say, it can be a little bit of a tough one sometimes to have too much impact there. Whereas, for example, basement, you can play across the entire map. You can use all of it to roam and make life difficult for the attackers. But this one, kind of bottled in a little bit, and we'll see how PSG Talon handle that. To be honest, it's not always been the end of their world. When we saw them winning on Chalet, it wasn't necessarily because of big players all around the map. They had that a couple of times when they were defending basement, for example, but they were able to lock it down up elsewhere as well without doing so. So we'll see how things go. Entry kills, of course, is something that we need to mention. It was super important back on Chalet. And there is our first. Misa takes down Solotov, and it's just a little bit too easy for PSG Talon.
Far too easy for them. Worth stressing, Gotti, by the way, he wasn't involved in a single entry kill before we got into Chalet, and now he's 0-4 off the back of playing out on these very isolated roles around the map and being punished for it. Admittedly, you have to kind of work on that one. You shouldn't be having your backline anchor getting involved in those fights, but times when he's on the Fenrir, for example, playing around bar and gaming on a basement defense, he did get punished for it. Still, the team sits up overall. I think it's about a +5 on entry so far. Now +6 with the start to this one. They really are handing these early rounds to BDS, so it's no surprise that BDS has struggled to get started in some of these rounds.
I think Breeder just a little bit unsure as to exactly what is preventing that wall from dropping away. He does get it done now, but we're a minute 30 in. It's taken quite a lot of time. We're going to have users there to get it opened up. Of course, on the ace, he was unable to do that given that the bandit batteries were there, but after all that work, Leakifac's been able to get into the point of taking the bandit batteries out, so a little bit of an issue there. Shaco just needed to be careful about pushing too aggressively. Once he took that mute jammer out, his Rotero drone that was trapped in it did activate. They do activate immediately at that point, so he didn't want to get caught out. Shaco's going to walk in. He's going to get shut down. Soldier is ready for it. There was backup as well. It's going to be 5 versus 3 now in favour of PSG Talon.
He's only got one canister left here. Brede can't mess this up, and he's gone through half of it. He's got to be so precise or this wall won't be opened up. Another electrification coming in as well. Otherwise, you have to turn in towards the ace, and you're not going to be able to make that one happen by the looks of it, Tim. He's out. That wall is staying closed. BDS have bottled it.
Quite literally, no more bottles
and
of gas left.
Too? What is going on?
They're going to have to work their way through into warehouse instead, potentially. Just having a look from underneath. He sees the head. Great eyes on Usus there to find his man. Gotti taken down 3 versus 4, but 35 seconds left to go and no real point of entry here for BDS. And importantly, they haven't dealt with the Azami out on that balcony. It's going to be very, very difficult to push in from that side because Ryder, he's going to be dug deep. It looks like Brede is going to go in through the window, look for the challenge, but Ryder's actually dipped away. He knew that the pressure was going to mount from there. 10 seconds, Des.
Still got Tubarão on side, Tim. They can delay out here all they like, but they don't even need to. IT not being open feels like a cardinal sin attacking this site, but with nothing to deal with the electrification. They completely stalled them out, Tim, and like you were saying, and BDS was slowed down a little bit back on Chalet. PSG managed to play things out well behind utility. They've done just that in round 1, and BDS probably kicking themselves. How on earth have they not managed to deal with any of that electrification or swapping operators that can deal with it?
The energy seems very... I mean, don't get me wrong, they're not a team, you know, that are necessarily always hyped up and, you know, bouncing up and down in the chairs. Generally quite a, you know, a reserved team overall. But the energy does seem a little bit low on the side of BDS, and it's not too much of a surprise because, you know, they have found themselves in an absolute brawl of the game, really. You know, this is no doubt going to be taking its toll. PSG Talon come out with a good first defense. They're going to move down to basement next. Like I say, this time they can use the map a little bit more to their advantage. They can get the Valkyrie cams out. They can have Yas with the Mozzie trying to create top floor. I was going to say team up with the mute, create a little bit of a blackout area up there on the top, force BDS to take that time to go in, guns up, having to face check every corner. Maybe they lose a body or two along the way. It could all play in PSG Talon's favour.
More and more Dinar being stacked up. Why not if it's working so well at this point? Solotov on that nook, hoping to sneak his way through and find themselves a cheeky little entry, because again, it's where they've struggled a lot throughout the series. And the last one couldn't really get too much going their way outside of Gotti being caught from below. It was a pretty convincing round overall for PSG Talon. Find themselves up on the top floor, and Leakifat's got... This is the thing, because if I look at BDS historically, there'll always be a drone ahead of a player like that making quick entry into the top floor. There's no way that they get caught out for free like this in 9% of situations, but just giving Leakifak away for free, back to his old habits of not really finding many kills in this series.
The book is going to be a big loss as well, of course. Attacking onto basement, you want to really get in there, get control of storage, start opening that floor up, and that can create a lot of space to put the diffuser down. That's no longer going to be possible. They do have some soft breach charges in the hands of Brede, but that's really going to be their only option in terms of working that verticality. PSG Talon still got a couple up there, 3 in fact, up on the first floor. It is Yas, Ryder and Soldier that are going to look to get aggressive here and look to challenge on. Shaco's trying to get something going with the track of the Deimos, but we can see Ryder just dips himself away to some safety here, and they've kind of just got BDS chasing them around the map at the minute.
Ryder can still play out as well because the track's expired now. Of course, still got 2 more available for Shaco to use. I've mentioned before, they like to have one of those available in the round-end situations. Ryder can afford to hover around a bit, try and cause a bit more bother. The Nook, of course, given away by the barbed wire here. That hatch being opened up, I thought for a second then we'd see the swing coming out of Misa to try and catch him out, but no such joy. But now massaging that area of the map, letting them know that he's here, trying to soak up some attention and resource. Ooh, Gotti 1
Gotti
HP.
very nearly losing his life there. Very committed to the potential bandit trick, but has to dip himself away because otherwise he's going to lose his life. So it shouldn't be any issue whatsoever for Breedy to get this wall open now if that's what they are looking to do. But at the minute, Breeder is not on the wall at this point. Shaiko going to take a lot of damage, but Yas ultimately caught out by Solotov. Coming in on his flank, Gotti does manage, even with super low health, to take down Breeder. Ryder onto Shaiko. PSG Talon are doing it again. The verticals now being used against them. Solotov, but Gotti's there for the trade. He is making the most of the health he's got left, Des. That's 2 kills from the bandit. Ryder closes it out. PSG Talon 2-0.
Looking so cozy, but a couple of key moments in that round from BDS that I'm thinking, what? Leakifat dying early on, a bit of a stinger. Gotti managing to push his way up cargo stairs, another, and then securing a second. Like, where are the comms boys? And I imagine that must be a discussion point in the BDS camp. How on earth have we let them spend that much time up on the first floor and not getting ourselves established like we would normally do? A few things to amend, no doubt, for BDS, but PSG Talon are off to a flying start on the defensive labs, Tim.
They really are, and right now BDS are fighting for their position at the top of the group. If we have a look at how things stand, they are currently up there on 9 points. The risk they have is that Raza Company particularly get the win. I mean, if Falcons were to get a 2-0, that would put them on 9 points, so would tie up, and we need to have a look at exactly how that looked in the tiebreakers. But Raza Company getting a 4-point win could jump above BDS. So their position at the top of this table is very much in jeopardy, Des, depending on the outcome of this game. They will get 1 point if they lose, of course, so that will put them on to 10 points, but it is very much losable. Raza are on 7, so a 3-point or 4-point win from them will tie things or better with BDS.
Ooh, we love a day that really matters when it comes down to it, Tim. At the end of the groups, horrible when things are already all decided, and it stays tight. PSG Talon at this point, Tim, not really needing to step away from this denial-focused setup they've got as well. Still behind the mirror, still behind the mute, still in behind the bandit. And of course, the more flexible nature of that Azami coming out, normally banned away throughout the tournament, but being available here, looking pretty good. There's actually a stat, I think it is, presence-wise, that Azami is the highest presence operator. And by presence, the combined rounds that she's banned for, plus the one that she's picked for when available, whatever percentage of that is your presence number, and she is the highest of all. No big surprise at all, because she does offer just so much flexibility to her defense and abilities to, I guess, keep the other side guessing about what's going on and having to adapt to all that comes before them. You know that a mirror, for example, can only really go down on a wall, whereas for keeper barriers, well, seemingly anywhere.
This time it's Usus on the Maverick, a little bit cleaner.
Breedy's been relegated. He's not allowed anymore.
No, come on.
You can only stuff it up
Give
once.
the blowtorch over. Usus a little bit cleaner, it's fair to say, on the removal of that barricade, that reinforcement. But still, PSG Talon are holding positions here. They're not going to dip away from this fight. They're going to be holding top floor for, it seems like, as long as they can. First shot missed. Second one picked up just in time as well. The touchdown does get taken out shortly after. Shaiko finds himself down. Will be collected. Will be collected.
Okay. That's definitely uncharacteristic for him.
Solotov manages to open things up with the kill onto Misa. That's the Azami down as well. Big opening kill for BDS. They need to build from there. This is the site that they need to be winning on the attack. The third choice site. The opportunity just slightly missed by Solotov there, but you feel if they keep peeking this, they will lose another life. PSG Talon maybe just needing to show a little bit of restraint here, but Ryder, he wants some of it. He just keeps teasing him. Leakifat manages to find Soldier, but it's Ryder who's there for the trade. He's having the game of his life today.
Well, Breedy's in and going for a plant here as well. Nades over the top to make sure he can't be pushed, and they might be able to stick this one. Surely one comes in close to C4, and Breedy, he assumed the C4 would be on him and wanted to get round the corner, but instead ran to his death. Shaiko's in going for the plant now. Has he got the cover? I think he does, but off comes one, and oh my god, Yas has found him! A 2K in the round, and it fell apart once again for BDS. Breedy running into a C4, and Shaiko not quite knowing where he was or what day of the week it is.
I don't think they know that Ryder's here. He's seen the drone, but he's purposefully not shot it because he doesn't want to give away his location. Gotti's got him covered. Ryder picks up the last, and right now, Des, this is one-way traffic. PSG Talon 3-0, and they are starting to, dare I say it, steamroller their way over BDS.
Surely attack timeout. Indeed it is. Very understandably, because it is falling apart here.
It really is.
It's strange, because if you flipped over the team names, for example, and let this game play out the way it has so far, you'd be going, yeah, that's expected.
That's fine.
PSG look a little bit messy on the attack, and BDS are rock solid on defense. Yeah, completely understandable. But it's the Korean team coming out on top. What a series.
Huge round from Yas there as well. C forward to deny the plant on Breeder, then takes down Shaiko, who comes off the secondary plant attempt. Just great stuff coming out of PSG Talon at the minute. And Des, it honestly feels a little bit like this isn't really in BDS's control anymore. It just feels like this game is up to PSG Talon. It is up to them to just continue going, or there is going to come a difficult point for PSG Talon. We've got to be realistic. Potentially, when they get to that winning post, when it is there in front of them that they could win this 2-1, that's going to put a bit of pressure on them as a team. Because it keeps them potentially in SI. We have to wait for the outcome of the Falcons Raza Company game to see exactly what happens with PSG Talon's fate, their future in the tournament. So it does put a lot of pressure on them. And the question is, can they get it over the line? I didn't think that was going to be a question, I'll be honest, that we were going to be asking today, Des. Can PSG Talon get this win over the line? Is that going to be the stumbling block for them? They did struggle a little bit on Chalet. They were 6-2 up. It came back to 6-5.
Yep.
The question is, can they do it when it really counts? BDS need to get a couple of rounds here. They need to keep in touch, but they might just get that opportunity later on when PSG, the nerves start to kick in a little bit and they know that they're on the verge of something big.
Also a reminder that BDS is risking first place in the group, and you might think, cool, who cares, first, second? It does matter, because you get that first round bye in the upper bracket. Otherwise, you're opening the door to Raza Company. They 2-0.
Surely not. Surely not.
I don't know.
It's too easy. No.
Not miles off.
It's such a common C4. Like, you cannot lose Shaiko to that. And they haven't. They've managed to overcome that obstacle at least. 3 days back on the Maverick this time. We'll see if the process is a little bit smoother, but Ryder
gets one.
Manages to find Shaiko. The challenge is coming from behind and does manage to take him down. He's trying to crawl to safety.
Oh, he's letting him go. He's letting him go.
If they're quick with the Maverick, they could find him as he goes through the door here, but I don't think they can get the angle. And yes, he manages to pick up Solitov with the Nitro. It's 5 versus 3 already in the round. And BDS, they just don't seem to have any of the answers.
This is off the back of attack timeout as well. Let's not forget, Tim. That's where you come up with an idea, with a plan. So far, they look absolutely clueless. I said earlier, they know what day of the week it is, Tim. They're still thinking it's 2023 at this point. Looking so behind the pace. PSG Talon looks set to go up 4-0 if this carries on.
Ryder's been collected as well. He's back on his feet, so even when BDS are getting that opportunity, they down the army. It's such a big operator to be able to remove. They're unable to get the finish on it, and it just feels like that sums up the look for BDS today. No, it's not the entire make or break for their tournament. They have already qualified through, but it is fighting for that top spot. It is fighting for that advantage. And right now, Des, BDS need to dig deep and fight, because PSG Talon are just playing better on Nighthaven Labs. It's 4 versus 2, and it looks like another round going to the Korean team. And BDS have got to find some answers. They've got to find them quick.
They look done to me, Tim. I think that timer wearing down is only going to delay the suffering. Oh, no, Gotti looking away at the wrong moment. Pays the price and opens the door for Likifak, who can step in and start doing some work here once again. Get a big bounce back on Shelly, but now put down in the dirt by Soldier. Yas comes in for the swing. PSG Talon are up 4-0. We said earlier, Tim, that Nighthaven Labs had a bit of a special place at Six Invitational after last year. We saw a monumental comeback back then. BDS could still pull that off, but it feels like Talon for them today, it might just be their story that's being written here on Nighthaven.
It really does. This is certainly going to be one for the history books. There's, you know, potentially you look at it.
Oh, no, because Fabian's not going to shut up about it, though. 2-0 BDS like no one else has. Oh, please.
Let's, you know, bring it back down to earth. I'm going to bring us back down to, bring everybody back down to earth for a minute, all the PSG Talon fans. Ultimately, guys, It is. No, it is going to mean so. It will be a huge accomplishment either way. To beat BDS in a best of 3 here at SI25 is a huge accomplishment for PSG Talon. Make no mistake about it. In terms of the tournament, it could end up, unfortunately, changing nothing. It depends on that Falcons game.
I remember the stats from the other day. Someone was saying, we've never seen a team be sent home when they've got 5 or more points. They've always made it through. Yet there is still a world where PSG Talon go home
on 6.
Yes.
It is.
It would be just their luck to have beaten DZ 2-1, to beat BDS 2-1.
That'd be heartbreaking.
And still go home.
That would be absolutely heartbreaking. And all it does is pile the intensity, really, and the focus onto that next game between Falcons and Raza Company to see what happens. But it's like I said in the break, PSG Talon can only do one thing here, and that is focus on their own destiny. The other games are out of their hands. All they can do is come through and beat BDS, and they are doing that right now. They are in the lead, 1 round apiece, 4-0 here on Nighthaven Labs, and they are living their dream at the minute at SI25 to keep themselves in the fight, and this is... It's just an unbelievable story, and it is what Six Invitational is all about, Des.
They win this, I want Fabian back on another Fresh and Friends podcast episode. It'll be the quickest turnaround time between the same guest on a podcast, but I do want to hear what on earth has gone right over the last 2 days, because it's a different team to what we saw in their first 2 games, Tim. And it's weird because those first 2 games would have been their easier opponents in Falcons and Raza Company, but against the big boys, DZ and BDS, they're putting on a bit of a show. Let's see how this goes, though. First phone call comes out from Yuzu, so that next one available in about 15 seconds or so. Paired up with that Deimos, it's a terrifying combo. Trying to see what they can find. It's Ryder who's been tracked, and he is elusive at best of times, Tim. Hasn't died yet this map. He's 5-0. He's still carrying on, even taking some shots back at Shaiko.
Gotti takes some damage, deals some damage, dips away. BDS don't want any part of the fight with this man as he steps up and takes down Solotov. That is the opener. The Zofia is gone. 5 versus 4. Leakerfact manages to find an answer. Uses from the top deck, takes down Ryder. 4 versus 3 as BDS find themselves with an advantage here. They've got a lot of the clearance done now. PSG Talon have had to retreat back to site, so BDS with a minute in hand can now start some vertical work. They can start thinking about where that diffuser's going to go down.
Such a weirdly paced round. It feels like it's been going forever, Tim, but it hasn't when you think about it. There's still about 45 seconds left now, but when I started speaking, about 60 or so. Trying to hunt down one of those players below. He's just being a bit elusive, a little bit slippy here away from the Deimos. Of course, got to be careful because you get the reverse track onto him. Not quite the nade that he wanted to throw down there. Right idea, just wrong place.
It just seems like everything's going wrong for BDS right now. Even the simple is becoming difficult, and that's what happens when you're placed under stress, as these players are at the minute. 20 seconds left to go. They're not in control of sight yet, but all eyes are on the sky for PSG Talon. They've got to be aware of the lateral push. I think Leakerfact may be in a planting position. Yes, he's going to start putting it down. Can PSG Talon affect this? Yes, they can. A big move in to prevent it going down. Is the time going to save PSG? They have to stop this plant going down. The cover is there. Usus gets his man, and BDS get their first round.
These are the situations where BDS throughout this series have generally come out on top, Tim, in these 2v2s or the 2v1s or any other kind of combination of the last few players being left alive. They do show they've got the grit to get it done. It's when PSG have been tripping them up in the early round that generally things have not gone their way. Still not a bad outcome. 4-1 to PSG, but Tim, we started at 5-1 to BDS on the defense of Lair, and we all know how that ended up. All the way at overtime to 8-7. PSG Talon are not out of the woods yet.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. We, like you say, saw this back on Lair. There is still, despite PSG Talon only being 3 rounds away from winning this, there is still a lot of siege to be played here. Make no mistake. And they are against one of the most dangerous teams in the world, who can just turn it on, who can just go in and win a couple of rounds, and all of a sudden that momentum shifts. But just yet, BDS have not shown an ability to really do that on Chalet or here on Nighthaven Labs so far.
Finally. So many times when I've seen Maestro picked up this event, and it hasn't been a whole lot. but I've never seen a Brava attacker repicked in to deal with it, and Solotov has made that choice in this round. It's so much free utility and information that you can take away from the defensive team. It's horrible trying to get a disable done when there is a hacked Maestro cam staring at you the whole time. You've also got the bulletproof in the castle that you can steal away. If you really want to get this far, you can look in towards things like mute jammers, default cams. There's a lot that you can do with this operator. Yes, it will slow things down, but I'm glad that BDS have brought this along.
BDS have still got 8 drones left alive as well. They've got the Brava drone. Well, they had the Brava drone. They've just lost one there. They've got another one that's going to go out, but the point is that they've got a lot of information to play off here, a lot of intel. No excuses from BDS for not knowing where everybody is located. Will it? Yes, I was going to say, will it stick? Yes, it will stick. They've managed to get the bulletproof away. So, big start for BDS here. They're doing really well. We can hear a breach going off as well. Utilities being stolen. They should have a good, clear picture of where everybody is with those 8 drones left alive. Everything is in their favor at the moment to go on and do this. The important thing is, can they get those first couple of kills?
Phone call ringing out here from Leakafat, the first of the round, the second one available in 20 seconds time. Shoko still not able to capitalize off that and get a kill. In fact, he's trying to walk in below Tim, and Ryder's got his number. Our entry hero in this series carries on. I'll tell you what, Tim, he's going to fly up the leaderboard for entries at this tournament, given how he's been playing so far. Yeah, he really is. Charco's having a tough day of it today as well. I think it's fair to say not been an easy one for him. Like I say, I know he's on those more sort of utility-based roles sometimes, but on the Deimos, you'd expect him to be going in there and getting kills, and the reality is he hasn't been able to. Solotov just seeing the soles of the boots through the drone hole. It just wasn't enough to find his man. That sums up BDS's day for me right there. Solotov's watching the angle. He's watching the angle and waiting, and the second he turns away is the second that they have a look at it. So again as well, just missing the crucial bullet to finish Yas off, and we saw what happened to him. Last time Yas wasn't killed, he became an absolute terror. Solotov does get the kill, but there's a trade there once again. PSG Talon, so good with this trade play today. Leakafat trying to start some kind of recovery to get this round back on live support. Users with the plant maybe going down. 3 players still available, and a C4 in back pocket for PSG. Oh, Ryder, you can't be missing them, my friend.
That's exactly what Users was trying to bait out there, I think, with that initial attempt at the plant, but he got it as well. Users is winning this single-handedly for BDS, taken down, but Leakafat's there for the trade, and that's going to be BDS getting themselves a second successful attack. All of a sudden, 4-2, it doesn't look that bad for BDS.
Like I said at the end of last round, Tim, BDS have just had a real habit this series of winning these man disadvantage situations. Of course, in 2v1s are going to win them out. It's BDS. But even when they're down a number, they seem to snag them away. And honestly, I think if PSG Talon go on to lose this series, we'll look back at Lair and be asking the questions about the exact same situations there, where they had a man advantage and managed to give the round away. Not to say it's unforgivable, but you're certainly making life far harder for yourselves than it needs to be. PSG Talon, they now move on to the attack, and we'll see how BDS fare on the defense of Nighthaven lads. But Tim, I'm smelling overtime in the air right now.
You just feel it, don't you? You really do. Get into the second half then. Top floor for BDS. Our PSG Talon going to come out and surprise us and be able to have that better attacking half. It's going to take everything that they've got. The question is, do they have enough left in the tank? This has now been a long game. Both teams under a lot of pressure. Who can stand up to it the best?
You have to remember that as these series wear on, that fatigue does start to settle in.
It does. It
definitely does. There are times I've heard teams say, oh, you know, we have double scrim blocks in a day, but our second block, you do start to fade towards the end. You're not
it's not like this either.
It's not the same intensity, the adrenaline, and the, you know,
it's not like this.
The environment, the context of the game itself really plays into it too. Completely agree. And we think back to when you and I cast Liquid back in 2021.
Yep.
We just saw them fade by map 5 of that grand final, and it's not, you know, unfair to assume that even in the best of 3, as you get towards the sharp end of things, where one map has already been overtime, one has been all rounds of regulation, that you will start to feel tired at this point.
It becomes mentally exhausting.
So small mistakes may start to creep in here. We've seen a lot already throughout the series, but that doesn't mean more won't start to show up.
Absolutely not. So here we go. It's going to be the first attack for PSG Talon. 45 seconds in. They are still looking for a little bit of drone in, some utility clearance. They're not going to be rushing anything here. Liquefact is inside of meeting at the moment. Window gets open. The question is, are they aware of it? Liquefact, I thought he was going to really sort of try and stick that and firm that position, but he's not. He's dipped back to connector for the time being. Just going to barricade that off. That's going to give him a little bit of intel when they do try to push further forward. And he's going to get himself back into sight now and go for the full reinforce. That's it. They're going to give up that area, but they've done that having wasted a minute and a half.
Kind of baited it, actually. Put the reinforce on, hoping they'd hear it going off on a drone or something, and then a step back through. The big brain play now would be for BDS to reinforce him out and hope that they don't drone him again.
It'd certainly be committing to the bit, I think, at that point. Liquefact manages to find his kill, though, onto Gotti. Beautiful stuff from BDS, and that, I'm sure, alone will have PSG Talon fans maybe a little bit concerned, because this has actually been, so far, a really nice defense from BDS. They are giving up absolutely nothing. We're a minute in. Liquefact's doing everything. He's getting an entry. He's impact tricking the wall. He's baiting them into the attack, pretending to reinforce. They've got everything in their favour at the minute, BDS. This is great stuff. The second impact trick will fail, and maybe now we will see that reinforcement come on through.
They should do. And now they try and break it away. They won't get through in time to bring him down. That has been reinforced off.
Great stuff.
Wasted, what, the best part of 2 minutes here, and there's no easy way through. There's no exothermics available for PSG Talon. Stepping up for the fight here. Here's Misa right on his way through. Could get swung from IT. Rushaiko's going to find Soldier. They've won all the gunfights they need to, Tim. It's just Yas left standing all by himself with nothing but a flash in back pocket, a hope and a prayer.
Fantastic stuff from BDS, it has to be said. This defense has been brilliant from them. They've just ticked every single box, really. They've controlled every area of the map. As you've said, they've won every single gunfight. Yas is going to try and work his way into electrical behind a flash. All it really does is tell BDS where he's coming from. 5 seconds left to go. It's just a question of whether he gets a kill or not. No, he doesn't. Shaiko will close out a flawless round. I've picked up that Shaiko has been a little bit quiet so far today, it's fair to say, but he has a big round there. And is that going to be a little bit of a catalyst for him to just really inject himself into this game now on the defense of Nighthaven Labs?
Coming into that round, he's, for those who want to know, 14 to 29 on KD and 2 to 8 on entry. His cost down there at 36% is one of the lowest, I think, that we've seen at the whole tournament in terms of an overall series, but let's not lie, that was a big team effort, I think, from everyone to get that one closed out. Very comfortable, winning their ones, which is the key thing they've been missing out on against PSG Talon for a lot of this series. Now they're back within striking distance, Tim. 1 round away from tying things up, and of course, being on the defense, you give them favour here to be able to bounce back.
Liquefact's command of connector there was absolutely phenomenal. It was beautiful. And that's what makes me look at this and think, PSG Talon, we've all been, you know, every neutral out there has been dreaming about the potential of this win and the story and what it signifies. But I just look at it with some reality behind me, and I think,
where's the 1 to 10 scale?
It's dropping. We may be at a 4 at the minute. I just think after that defense from BDS there, I look at it and I think BDS are looking good on defense here of Nighthaven Labs. They've absolutely commanded that top floor, which can be a tough site to hold on to, and I don't know how things are going to shape up over the next couple of rounds. But look, PSG Talon have surprised us a number of times here, Des, and I know they've still got it in the tank. I know the confidence is high. They just need to make sure they're getting those entries and going on in and pushing forward. Ryder, he's going to step up for his team once again, take down Solotov, and PSG Talon, they're here to keep trying to prove me wrong.
He really cannot stop today, Ryder, can he? He's now 10-3 on entry throughout the series. That is an unbelievable success rate. Mason a second, Mason a third! Ryder, oh my God! It's a quad! He's about to ace out the round if he can find Shaiko. Just as we were talking, Tim, about dreams fading, he comes up big. And what operator is he on? He's on the Deimos, Tim. Shaiko, here's a little bit of payback for you.
He will not be stopped at this point. Did you see that? As soon as he gets the 4th, he goes herring downstairs.
Here we go.
He wants it. He wants that ace desperately. The only question is he going to be able to find it? Shaiko had a little look at getting upstairs, manages to find Gotti, but that's not the player who anybody is interested in. It's all about Ryder. Here is his opportunity.
Don't kill him, no!
For a huge ace against BDS's team of facilitated. And Ryder Ryder finishes it! That is an ace against BDS to just keep Talon going, to put them one step closer on an unbelievable journey.
Wow! Just as the hope starts to break and Tim gives up, moves it down to a 4. Ryder, who we were glazing something special on his entry, but has now pulled out an ace. BDS pulled out some magic in the last 2 rounds of the first half. Ryder's doing it halfway through this one. Spectacular stuff. Talon up to 5 and 3. Quick tech pause coming in by the looks of it, but that 2-round lead is re-established, Tim. 2 more rounds.
What do I know, Des?
And PSG Talon have got it done.
What do I know? BDS come out with, let's be honest, round 7, one of the best defenses that we've seen today. It was brilliant. It was fantastic. And so, yeah, I look at that and I think maybe Talon are just reaching, you know, the end of this journey. But no, Ryder says, you know what, Ace? I'm going to hit an ace instead.
Has anyone, I'm trying to look back through my mind and my memory's always crap, but has anyone got an ace against BDS before?
I mean, if you're asking ever, that's a serious question. There's a good chance somebody
Pretty
has,
much ever. I'm trying to think of the times that it's happened. I can't really, none jump to mind. There's a lot of amazing aces that we've had through history, including you, Tim, but I just can't think of the one that's been against his team. Because they're just that good and so good at stopping it. But I can't believe Ryder solo has gone into top aqua there, spun on the diamond, killed 3 people, taken out the 4th, and then hunted Shaiko down. Oh, it's beautiful, sweet payback.
I just love the mentality within the team. They all wanted it for him. They were launching utility.
I was like, Gotti, no, don't do it, no.
They were launching utility in. They were doing everything they could. None of them was taking the fight. They all knew what it meant, and they all wanted Ryder to secure it. And what a moment we've just witnessed. It's absolutely brilliant. You know, I'm thinking through 6 invitational matches, and there are many days. You know, we are very, very fortunate to have seen as many of these games as we have done, and we've seen some absolute classics. But what a story we are seeing unfolding here today, and it's just unbelievable. You know, coming in, the expectations were, of course, all for BDS to hold on to this, take the top spot, and right now, they are on the back foot in map 3, and PSG Talon just keep taking that next step. Every time that it looks like they've maybe taken their last, they find the energy for another step forward, and it's unbelievable to watch at the minute.
So while BDS have got a wallow in their thoughts, Mees is going for a whiz. He stepped out for an emergency bathroom break. Normally what you do between maps, of course, but this one, the boys are chugging away throughout the game, keeping themselves hydrated. Sometimes it's got to happen. And of course, taught during this time, players themselves have to stay dead silent on both sides. It's kind of like a technical pause in that sense. And normally it isn't allowed, but I guess if it really is an emergency.
Well, the thing is as well, it doesn't necessarily... The momentum's with PSG Talon. They've just got an ace. You know, it doesn't necessarily help for them to have the couple of minutes sat there. So we will see. It won't be too long, I'm sure, until we're back into things. But you know, what a tale that we have in here. Misa will return.
At least he's ran.
Yeah, he will
He'll
return.
be knackered now.
But you know, look, the story almost writes itself at this point. PSG Talon, you know, huge underdogs in this matchup, coming through, not only making a game of it, but are well on top here, and they are 2 rounds away, Des. 2 rounds away, you've got to say, from making a small piece of SR history.
Right, we're back in seat, Tim. We can carry on this absolute spectacle between 2 gladiators. David versus Goliath, we called it at the start, but I think many were looking at PSG more towards the Goliath side at this point. BDS are the ones chasing them down.
Yep.
It's not looking too easy for them. Here we go. The control and storage defense coming out from BDS.
This is not an easy site to hold on to either. That's the...
Do you think he washed his hands, by the way?
I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did.
I'll leave that one out there.
Not an easy site to hold on to. We saw PSG only able to hold on to it once of the twice that they tried. So, you know, that goes to show if you lose top floor particularly, it can be a tough one. You're going to try to hold above. You're going to try to keep hold of, you know, pretty much the same areas that you would for top floor. But BDS don't manage to do that. If PSG Talon can get in and disrupt that, it could be a tough one. It's also difficult if the IT wall gets opened and you kind of end up relying on needing to hold on from basement. So I'd like to see PSG Talon just open up IT wall, open up the basement wall, and make it very difficult so that you can play for that pillar plant spot, because it's then difficult for anybody to play above or below.
In terms of the round itself, my eyes naturally jumped straight over towards that blitz. I saw it banned away by BDS the last two maps, and I did wonder, okay, the Blackbeard's taken away, fair enough, Soldier's played it a lot. Are we going to see Soldier going over to the blitz? And the answer in this round, Tim, is a resounding yes, joined up by the Dokkaebi and the Lion. So this just feels like hell on earth for BDS if you are not tucked in close to the site. So, roam at your own peril.
You can hear the keeper barricade just being thrown over the window there, just going to prevent any quick entry coming in. That's just going to provide Sharko with a little bit more safety up here. He's got himself all set up there. 3 keeper barricades is going to need to be moved realistically, because otherwise it makes Warehouse very difficult to do anything with. They've got the wall open into Warehouse, but they're going to want to maybe be able to position somebody in there so that they can prevent the push through into storage if they do go for the plant onto pillar.
First ball coming out. It's always around this mark that we see it coming out from either team, really. Mies is straight in for Solotov, and Ryder's got another. Tim, they're about to do it. I think they're about to put BDS up to match point. In he goes, and Leakafac's been hunted down by the shield. Mies are in for another. PSG Talon cannot be stopped. Plant's going down, and Brede, with a kill to his name, has got to pull up for 1 versus 5 against the shield, against 3 EE1Ds. I don't care that they haven't been used in the round, Tim, because they've done enough. He's found 1 for himself. But I don't think there's enough time to clutch out and get a disable in. BDS staring down the barrel of defeat here. 1 more round is all PSG Talon needs.
Unbelievable scenes. There was, until Brede got the kill onto Misa, Ryder's going to finish him off. Until Brede got that kill onto Misa, that was 9 kills unanswered. We had the ace from Ryder, and then the first 4 of the next round. It was 9 kills unanswered from PSG Talon to put them not only onto map point, but onto series point as well, and onto the verge of a huge SI moment that I'm sure will be remembered for a long time. In terms of BDS, it doesn't count them out of the tournament. It's not necessarily that big a moment for them, but it does deny them top spot potentially. It depends on what happens through the rest of the day, but it could be the difference maker. It could see them in the upper bracket without a bye rather than with one, and that is big.
Animated Leakafac, but I wouldn't say down in spirits as he was the other day. I think the more the fashion in which they're losing, they're probably a little bit impressed by what they're seeing from PSG Talon.
Talon are winning these rounds.
I look back to how some of our teams, like Scars is one that I think back to as well, started the tournament, and it was horrible to watch. Barely able to attack. It was like they were playing together for the first time as a team. Like some of them had never seen a comp game in their lives. But I think today, everyone will remember Ryder channeling his inner faker and coming out with a 14-3 performance when his team need it most.
It's unbelievable.
Across the whole series, he's not near the kill record, but I guarantee he's not too far away from it.
40-21.
Unreal. Absolutely unreal.
He's had a 40-kill series against BDS, including an ace.
And Shyko is down at 17 kills by comparison. Not saying he's twice as good as Shyko, Tim, but the numbers say he is.
Well, PSG Talon have had an unbelievable day, whatever happens over the next 3 rounds. But remember, I asked that question, how will they do when it comes to getting this over the line? Will they be able to get it done? The last couple of rounds suggest, yes, they will be able to. 6-3, and they show no signs of stopping right now. BDS, it's time. You've got no more chances. You got to dig your heels in. You got to show why you deserve to be the champions of this whole thing, and you've got to be able to get these rounds back to back and take us for just a few more extra rounds on Night Haven Labs.
What a story that is assembling. Leakafac this time around, not a bait force. No, this time it's fully kept closed up and he's not going to play his life inside of Connector. Now it's about what everyone else can get up to, though. Of course, PSG Talon have got to work through this. They still have Yas on the hard breach. They've still got Gotti with all 3 of those ace Selmas. Not seeing the same problems that BDS did, but they couldn't open up IT. That'll be done for them, and not having to worry about relying on a Maverick, because we're not seeing anything on BDS that will deny it away. No Kaid, no Bandit coming out, but Soldier is taken down. Solotov finding the entry.
Yeah, Solotov taking a really aggressive stance there inside of IT, even with that wall opening up, and it pays off. Manages to get the entry for BDS. Ryder was thinking about it. He wanted to walk onto catwalk. He's just making sure he clears out that bulletproof utility before he does. That was his job. Now he can just go and look for kills, see if he can get PSG Talon level, but just a little bit tentative. He wants his team to get into position.
A little bit here. Oh, Solotov's got another. Ryder the GOAT is down. Solotov's barely moved his feet from this position, yet has really taken all the steam out of this attack from PSG Talon. 3 players still up, both phone calls in pocket. A little bit uncharacteristic. We've seen the calls used around about the 150 mark for both teams. Here it's been held on to a fair bit longer, expecting that at least get through Solotov and then worry about the rest of the team with those calls. But rounding their way forwards now, they will be facing off against a mirror window, which is not an ideal thing to be walking onto catwalk facing off against with fewer players available to you. Also got those keybers, as you can see. Feeling a bit locked out here, and I think PSG Talon might just find the clock is going to be BDS's greatest friend as they walk into their deaths.
Yep, more than likely. It's going to be a big ask from here. 20 seconds left to go, facing a lot of utility. Still trying to open up walls, still trying to gain angles. They managed to go in, get the kill onto Solotov. That gets things started. 14 seconds left to go, but surely going to be shut down. Yes, Leaker fight, Breeder. They managed to step up, get aggressive onto catwalk, find one. It's all up to Gotti. Cut down by Shaiko. And that is going to be the first of 3 rounds that BDS need to keep themselves in this one. This keeps going, Des.
We've been here before, Tim. It looked a bit nerve-wracking back on Chalet when BDS were clawing their way in. But PSG Talon managed to get it done.
The thing is,
attack timeout here as well, because Fabian knows if you left it another round, it's too late at that point. You've got to get it right first time. Here, at least, they have 2 chances.
Look, in a way, there's an argument that for every round PSG Talon lose here, the next one should, in theory, be easier, because BDS are cycling through on defense the sites that they want to play. So they're going to have, if they've got to win 3 in a row, so they're going to have to go to a 3rd choice site, one way or another. So arguably, each time, there's maybe a little bit more chance that PSG Talon win it in that final round than in the first opportunity.
For sure, and the only site that BDS has won has been that top floor. They haven't won down in base. They didn't win on the first floor. So all things are looking positive towards PSG Talon. But what I will say is the last time we played down in basement, it was off the back of that Ryder 5K. He made the difference.
It was.
BDS
well, you could just do that again.
Yeah, I guess you could. Surely not. Don't.
I've already done it once this week.
Look, that was a 1v5, to be fair.
1v5s do happen. Look, this do happen.
This is like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. You've already played the card for the 1v5. You've already done it for the ace. You can't do it again, Tim. I don't know what your last card is available to you, to be honest with you, but we'll see.
Surely not. Look, PSG Talon, they've still got 2 rounds. If you're just tuning in, you are seeing it right. They are 1 map apiece with BDS, and they've got an opportunity to lock down a 3-point win that will jump them above Falcons for the time being. So the win against Dark Zero, the win against BDS will take them off the bottom of the table. It will then all come down to what happens in that Falcons versus Raza Company Academy game coming up later today. So PSG Talon, all that is in their control is to get this one, put the points on the board, and then they've just got to sit back and watch their fate unfold.
Nerve-wracking, isn't it?
Yep.
It's easy sit in a similar position. All they can do is watch, see what comes out of these future games. There'll be a lot of that today, Tim, for those that have already finished the groups and are in precarious positions. Yes. You have no say anymore. It's down to the results around you, and can't blame anyone but yourself. At the end of the day, you've played your 4 games, you've had your 4 chances to get yourself clear of these kinds of conversations. If you're still sucked in it, that's on you, friends, I'm afraid. Let's see how this round plays out, though. Still 2 chances for BDS to pull us up to overtime. It feels, in a way, Tim, like the series demands it. An 8-7, a 7-5, and another OT. I'd take it as our longest series so far at the event, sure.
Oh, tasty. It would be very tasty indeed. Now then, let's see where this entry kill goes. Throughout the series, we've seen them be so important, and PSG Talon have done a great job of going in there and getting that good start, that best foot forward that they need, and quite often the rounds will go in that direction. Knows exactly where one is. Looks to start opening things up. I'm sure that will move that player away. Solotov picks up Ryder, and that is a big loss for PSG Talon. It's not to say the others aren't playing well. They are. But Ryder has been a talismanic presence over the last couple of maps in particular.
I think Solotov's turning into a bit of a gatekeeper stopped them in their tracks in the previous round. Here has got rid of the best performing player throughout the series on that PSG Talon side. Gives the French side, well, partly French side these days, of course, English speaking now, since the addition of Usis and Solotov, but gives them a little bit of a reprieve, moments of breather sigh of relief. The Demon Hunter is dead.
Misa just going to be drawn in down cargo stairs, just trying to get a better picture of exactly what's going on inside a site. I think with one player down, they're definitely going to want to be careful here. I'm going to say potential opportunity there. It's not always easy to flip from the skeleton key to the rifle quickly enough to make that kind of challenge, but I'd say that's, you know, something that the very best book players do really, really well. Yes, a great book player, unable to find his man on that occasion. I think he didn't quite see him. He's just chasing intel at the minute. Yellow ping's coming out, just trying to give him any ideas of where he might find somebody. But with 45 seconds left to go, a little bit of a concern that they may be just stalling out a little bit here. But keep an eye on Soldier on the blitz.
Well, they've got N as well. They've just about covered it off with the shield, with the smoke, sorry. So now he needs to make a move. I don't think they must know that a player is down here, else they wouldn't have smoked it off. And it's about to expire. They're going to pay the price if they're not too careful, Tim.
Soldier just gets himself out of the problem there, potentially. They're going to open up and maybe run into the open arms of Leakerback. That's exactly what happens. He's able to down Soldier. The damage is done. The kills come in. Solotov, Shaiko, they get one apiece. Gotti is there for at least a little bit of something, but it's going to be meaningless as Users manages to pick up Gotti, and BDS says they keep fighting. We're coming down to round 12.
Wow, wow, wow. Just like before, they're battling their way back in, Tim. PSG Talon show to come back on map 1, BDS on map 2, and they're working it here on Labs. Think about what we said about the history of Labs just last year. A 6-1 back to an 8-6 win. It can happen. BDS following greatness before them on that same trajectory. PSG Talon just need one, Tim. Just one over the line. We'll go into control and storage on the first floor to see if this is where it all ends.
This could be it, Des. It could be the end. It could be just the beginning of this story. I think everybody watching this, unless you have an allegiance to BDS or PSG Talon, just wants to see as much of this as we can. Both of them, both of them have put up such a strong fight here. They have both made a case for winning this game. They have played it like it's a grand final.
Yeah.
They have both given absolutely everything to this matchup. One of them has to come away the winner. That might be determined in the next 3 minutes.
Some of you are probably already thinking about overtime and what that starts to look like. BDS start on the defense if we get there. We have seen a 4-2 half from PSG Talon back in the first half when they were on the defense. And of course, assuming BDS win this one, we've seen a 4-2 defensive half here as well. Kind of leans towards suggesting that BDS can get it done in overtime yet again. But my God, will have PSG Talon had them on the ropes the whole way through. Soldier once again charging ahead with his blitz. Mixed results with it so far. Where BDS have found a little bit of comfort is when he is at range. Well, they can pepper those feet, they can pepper his size, they can get crossfires onto him, and there is definitely ways to control him out. If that fails, well, there's 3 C4s in back pockets. There's also smokes to play behind. They've got a lot of tools to deal with him. It's about finding him at the right time. That's the first C4 coming out. Close one as well.
My eyes are glued to this blitz at the minute. We know that Operator can be such a round winner. Are they aware of Leakerback? He's just hiding himself away. He could definitely play spoiler if PSG Talon don't pick up on him. One to watch as things progress. PSG Talon are doing well so far. IT wall is open. That prevents anybody playing inside of there. It starts to open up that pillar plant position potentially. They need to think about basement. They need to think about warehouse. That's exactly what they're doing now.
He's just working his way down. Has got an angle in towards sight. But get himself a freebie here and does find it. There we go. Leakerback has stepped out and given the freebie. The entry is over the other side. 4 left standing for BDS.
The entry kills have been so important thus far. Will it prove to be in the overall outcome of the map? Will PSG Talon manage what they did on Chalet and get it won in the 12th round? We've got Solotov just lurking around. He knows that they're on the steps. He can do nothing about it without risking his own life. The last thing BDS want to do is give away another kill, Des. There comes the challenge. Misa takes a lot of damage. 1 minute left to go.
It's the fact he's still alive is a key one, Tim. Still 2 Grim Bees in back pocket as well, which are really going to help them push into the site. The vertical is theirs. The blitz is at the ready. Fully charged. All those LEDs ready to blind. It's like driving down a motorway. It might well be the highway to victory for PSG if they can get it done. But that time waits for no one. 40 seconds still to go. They haven't yet found a second player, but here comes the execute.
Blitz, he's going to go in. Soldiers looking to get this diffuser down. Is there anybody that can stop it? Gotti picks up one. Shaco, Breeder, 3v3. The plant will be secured though. The Blitz gets his shield up. 40 seconds left for BDS to save themselves inside of this matchup. And he's using the map well, but gets cut down. Breeder finds the kill onto Soldier. 3v2, Des.
Ryder's on the vertical. He's opened it up with the DMR on the line. If he's been the hero through the series, Tim, now's the time to go super. Looking like he can do it. Another scan comes out, making sure to use him this time. It's a 1 versus 3 to hold, and they're pushing him from behind. He's found one. He's got to get the vertical as well. They get pulled off, Tim. We're down to the last 3 or 4 seconds. Ryder's got another. He's held on. He's going to do it. And PSG take the 2-1 win.
Such a poetic moment that if it was anybody gonna hold on to a 1v3 clutch, it was that man, Ryder. What a performance he has put in to lead PSG Talon to what will be one of the most memorable victories that we see in any Six Invitational. They have overcome one of the tournament favourites. It was the most unlikely of outcomes, but they have earned their place on the winner's podium of that matchup, Des.
Holy shit. Wow. Wow. I can't believe Ryder's had that kind of performance. That is something special, and he'll never forget that moment. PSG Talon remain BDS's nemesis. But now, Tim, it's out of their hands. Everything turns towards that next game. They've played their part. What more can come? We'll go to a break, and when we come back, we'll have a good chat about this series, because my God, was it a banger.